the maximum level expert. She thrives in interstellar riches. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1276. Advance to the finals 4. Huang Nan's vines broke through the shield constructed by Zikingyu, and in the blink of an eye, they wrapped around Zikingyu's ankles and hung her up. I don't know what happened to Zikingyu, but she let the vines hang her up and didn't fight back in time. Seeing this, Kyoshi couldn't help but hold her hands anxiously. What's wrong with Zhao Banli? Why doesn't he fight back? She felt uneasy and anxious just watching Zikingyu being swung around by two huge vines. He must have been poisoned by Huang Nan accidentally. Chu Jian looked at the big screen seriously and found the grass hidden on the edge at a glance. Huang Nan placed poisonous grass on the edge of the duel stage. As long as Zhao Banli stepped on it, he would be infected with the toxin. When Huang Nan used a powerful attack to break Zhao Banli's shield, the toxin would be activated instantly and paralyze Zhao Banli's nerves. To be honest, although he had seen through Huang Nan's methods, he was still more or less shocked. Because such complex fighting methods are usually used by military academy students, and these reserve military students usually use simple and basic fighting methods. So he swept away his previous relaxed mood and immediately observed Huang Nan's every move. Hearing this, Wen Jiu's expression became serious. It seems that Huang Nan can challenge a high level, and he really has some real skills. However, he currently only has a 5th level wood ability, and the toxins he can produce are not very powerful. As long as Zhao Banli can hold on for a while, he can get through the paralysis time and fight back. She herself is also a wood ability user, so she naturally knows how to make toxins. So from Huang Nan's eager performance, she can judge that the other party can paralyze Zikingyu, which means he has used his strongest toxin. As long as Zikingyu can hold on for about 2 minutes, he can get rid of the paralysis effect brought by the toxin. There is no way. The gold ability is very strong in combat, but it is a little lacking in defense. Well, it seems that Zhao Banli's training is not enough on weekdays. Stephanie ate the strawberry cake leisurely. Zhao Jiu, you must train Zhao Banli well in the future. It's too funny that he can't even withstand such a small amount of toxin. After saying that, Kyoshi on the side couldn't help but said, the toxins generated by wood type superpowers are not easy to dissolve. And not everyone has water type superpowers like you. And Zhao Banli was injured in the preliminary round and can't withstand the destruction of toxins for the time being. She was not defending Zikingyu, but the toxins generated by wood type superpowers are difficult to dissolve for other superpowers, except water type superpowers and light type superpowers. Therefore, when other superpowers are fighting against wood type superpowers, they will try their best to avoid the plants created by wood type superpowers, so as not to be infected with toxins and get hurt by accident. Although this is true, Zhao Banli should indeed strengthen his training. Wen Jiu rarely disagreed with Kyoshi. He faced a level 5 wood type mutant this time, and he was able to rely on his own level of ability and physique to barely remove the poison and restore his combat ability. But what if he encounters a level 6 or even a level 7 wood type mutant in the future? Then he will only be poisoned and wait for death. So I think there is nothing wrong with what Feng Feng said. Zhao Banli should indeed strengthen his training in this area. Everyone knows that the toxins produced by wood type mutants are tricky, so naturally they should find a way to solve this problem. As the saying goes, medicine and poison are inseparable, so Wen Jiu still has a lot to say about toxins. Just by looking at the scene of Zikingyu being poisoned and beaten, she thought about how to train the other party after returning. After all, there will be many single player duels in the future, and you can't just stand there and get beaten every time you are poisoned. Moreover, the toxins produced by wood type superpowers have more than just paralysis. Some powerful wood type superpowers can even directly poison their opponents. Therefore, it is quite necessary to increase toxin tolerance training. Although several people were chatting and analyzing, their eyes were always on the big screen, fearing that they would miss something. After they waited anxiously and nervously for 2 minutes, the battered Zikingayu finally began to fight back. Fortunately, Zikingayu used superpowers to take emergency protection before being paralyzed, so the attack launched by Huang Nan could not cause fatal injuries. Ahem, you are playing dirty, right? Zikingayu's mouth was filled with a bloody smell, and there were scars on his limbs and face, but he just clenched his hands into fists nonchalantly and used superpowers to construct extremely sharp double blades. Then, he rushed towards Huang Nan at an elusive speed, and there was a circle of knives flying around him. Seeing this, Huang Nan immediately activated the vines to break out of the ground, trying to use it to block Zikingayu's attack. However, before his vines flew in front of Zikingayu, they were cut off by flying knives one after another. This situation made him panic for a moment, causing him to not have time to reinforce the shield. With a click, the shield with green light on his body shattered. A second later, a sharp blade hit his neck. He could even feel the stinging pain of the blade cutting through his skin, and the wet feeling of warm blood sliding down his neck. The violent desire to survive made him raise his hands immediately. I give up. I give up. I give up. Hearing this, Zikingayu put down his hands, did not continue to attack Huang Nan, and began to wait for the system to announce the result. Who knew that he had just taken 2 steps back when he heard the sound of vines breaking through the ground. He didn't even turn his head and directly flipped his wrist and threw the 2 sharp blades back. He quickly cut off the vine that was trying to attack him and then directly inserted it into Huang Nan's shoulder with a puff. Seeing this, the people in the spectator stand couldn't help but shout in surprise or excitement. TSK, Zio Banli is still soft-hearted after all. Chu Jian was completely relieved after seeing this scene, but he personally didn't like Zikingayu's soft-heartedness. After the voice fell, Wen Jiu, who had just taken a peach tart, replied, everyone has different ideas, don't force it. Although she is also a person who will avenge her grudges without mercy, she still admires Zikingayu's magnanimity. Of course, she appreciates it, but she will not learn from Zikingayu. If you ask me, Zio Banli should cut Huang Nan into 8 pieces, Stephanie said with a smile. Cut it into 8 pieces seems too simple. It's better to cut the meat one by one, but cutting meat is more challenging. Well, but with Zio Banli's ability in making mutton rolls, cutting meat shouldn't be difficult for him, right? Wen Jiu and others have long been accustomed to Stephanie's terrifying words, and they didn't even give her a scared look, just continued to look at the big screen and wait for the system to announce the final result. Only Mr. Wang, who didn't know Stephanie, was wiping the cold sweat on his face with a look of horror. The first update of the day has been successfully delivered. Please check it out, little angels. 030. Chapter 1277. Finals 5. Hey, Mr. Wang, what's wrong with you? Are you not feeling well? Seeing that the result of the competition was already decided, Zizio had the ulterior motive to say, you must take good care of yourself, don't end up like Han Zering. In fact, Zizio doesn't like personal attacks. After all, not everyone is healthy. But the problem is that Mr. Wang insisted on hitting him, and there was also Han Zering who was full of malice towards Kaioshishi. This made him, who was originally very kind, really unable to resist personal attacks. Hearing this, Mr. Wang's face suddenly became worse. Because he knew how Han Zering's leg was broken, he really didn't dare to say anything bad. Although the Han family sent Han Zering to a high-level planet for treatment at that time, the opponent's left leg still had an incurable minor problem, and even the leg injury affected a certain indescribable part. It is precisely because of this that the Han family now focuses on cultivating Han Yashin. Thank you for your concern, Mr. Z. I suddenly remembered that I still have some work to report to my assistant, so I'll leave first. Mr. Wang didn't want the property he had worked so hard to get to be suddenly divided up by his sisters and brothers. As the saying goes, a man of insight is a hero. Even if he was jealous of Ziziu's excellence, he couldn't continue to jump around at this time. So he decisively left the private room on the 3rd floor and headed for the lobby on the 1st floor, as if he was escaping for his life. Isn't Huang Nan a student that Shenkei College has been cultivating? How come he can't even beat that hothouse flower from the Z family, who can only play mechas? What a shame. What a shame. I bet on Huang Nan. I'm really disappointed. Oh, by the way, if the young master of the Z family really gets the quota, then wouldn't the status of the Z family be even more unshakable? The status of the Z family is already difficult to shake. I have advised you before not to target the Z family and just focus on competing for the position of the new famous family in the 11th military region. You guys think you can bring the Z family down? Now it's okay, Z always holds grudges, and you all just wait to be dealt with one by one. Old Zhang, what you said is really interesting. When we had this idea at the beginning, did you come out to persuade and stop us? You were just worried that you would be dealt with by the Z family. Don't act like you respect and protect the Z family. Okay, both of you, stop arguing. Let's hear what information Mr. Wang got in the private room on the 3rd floor. Mr. Wang originally wanted to leave the VIP room after finding his assistant, but he was spotted by his friends before he found anyone. He could only pretend to be calm as usual and said with a smile, "You all know how vigilant Mr. Z is. I only went upstairs for a short while. How can I get any useful information? Alas, it's getting late. I have to go back to the old house today. We'll be there later." He was interrupted by Han Ziren with a cold face before he could finish his polite words. "I think it's not that you didn't get any information, but you are afraid of Zizi's power." Han Ziren walked over step by step. "Mr. Wang, with your courage, you'd better not think about helping your Wang family replace the Z family. Sure enough, choosing you to go to the 3rd floor was a wrong choice. No one in your Wang family is brave." Hearing this, he suddenly felt dissatisfied. Although the Wang family behind him is not the strongest among the famous families present, it is not the turn of the Han family behind Han Ziren to humiliate and slander him. Besides, Han Ziren is just a useless chess piece abandoned by the Han family. How dare the other party blame him here? If the Han family did not have Han Yashin, who was barely acceptable, and even if he lost the game, he could still enter the military academy through the graduation exam in the future, he would not allow Han Ziren to join the ranks of overthrowing the Z family. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but smile with gloating and replied, "Yes, I'm timid, but at least I dare to come to the stadium, while some people can only receive treatment from a psychologist at home." Hey, speaking of this, I suddenly thought of a question. Han Ziren, you and your brother both need to see a psychologist now, so is the price half the price for the second person? As soon as the voice fell, the people watching the excitement around laughed out loud. The man who was joking with Han Ziren before also joined the ranks of making fun of Han Ziren. After all, they were brought together for the sake of interests, so naturally there was no real affection between them. Seeing this, Han Ziren immediately rushed towards Xiao Wang in anger. He hated to hear people mention two things in front of him. One was that he had offended someone he shouldn't have offended and brought disaster upon himself, and the other was that he needed to see a psychologist regularly. As for the fact that his brother was frustrated by the girl named Kaioshishi, which caused his self-esteem to be hurt, and he also needed to see a psychologist for treatment, it was nothing bad for him to mention. Anyway, he and Han Yashin didn't have a deep relationship, and the two of them were even competitors in the Han family. He was actually happy from the bottom of his heart that the other party had become like that, but he would never allow others to mention his own things. Damn. Are you sick? Xiao Wang fell heavily to the floor first, and then he came to his senses and wrestled with Han Ziren. What's wrong with you? What did I say wrong? Because Han Ziren was injured and couldn't move and fight, Xiao Wang quickly gained the upper hand. The people around stood aside and watched, occasionally saying a few sarcastic words, and no one wanted to take care of this matter. Friends who only drink and eat together, that's what they do. Really? They started fighting so soon. TSK, I thought they would fight after they went back. Zizi specially left a subordinate on the first floor, and the other party just took advantage of the chaos to send him a message to let him know what happened in the lobby on the first floor. Hearing this, Kaioshishi, Chujian and Stephanie, who loved to watch the fun, all wanted to go to the first floor to watch the show. However, the three of them didn't say anything, just sat on the sofa and ate dessert. Because they all knew that when Jiu didn't like to join in the fun, they all suppressed their thoughts. Ziziu, do you have any surveillance here? Wen Jiu had already eaten half of the dessert, so he leaned lazily on the sofa and looked out the window. It just so happens that Ziobanla's game is temporarily over. You can turn on the surveillance footage for them to watch. She didn't know what her friends were thinking. They all wanted to watch the fun and didn't mind the trouble. Of course, Ziziu is not much better at gossip. After the voice fell, Ziziu clapped his hands and called up the real-time monitoring of the first floor. After all, the Z family is an investor in this college competition, so it is natural that they have this privilege. The second update of today has also been successfully delivered. Thank you little angels for your support and love 030. Chapter 1278, Advance to the final 6. Unfortunately, the fuss in the lobby on the first floor was quickly resolved by the staff. After all, the guests in the VIP room are either rich or noble, and many guests come here from other planets to watch the game. So after Zhao Wang hit Han Zirong a few times, the two were pulled away by a group of staff. As for whether they will have disputes again in the future, it is not the concern of Wen Jiu and others. Ziziu still has to stay in the private room to deal with important matters, so Wen Jiu and his group left to set up stalls in the booth area. While they were busy with their own things, Ziziu also left the duel stage and returned to the lounge for treatment. Because Ziqingyu won the first mecha duel before, he had exactly 2 wins with the victory in the superpower duel and successfully obtained the qualification for promotion. What he has to do next is to rest well and adjust his state and then wait for the second round of opponents to be drawn. However, according to official requirements, he cannot leave, even after finishing the first round of the game. He must stay in the lounge until all the games of the day are over. So he lay in the medical cabin for a while to receive treatment, and when his injuries were healed, he found a place to sit. Before he sat down, he went to get a bottle of nutrient solution. After all, fighting for so long still consumed his physical energy. There were much fewer players participating in the semi-finals than in the preliminary rounds, so the huge lounge became less crowded than before. He found an empty sofa to sit down, and then drank the nutrient solution. But just as he was about to throw away the empty bottle, he saw a frail man walking over. Ahem, you are very good at driving a mecha. Have you learned it specifically? Although this man had thick blonde hair, he didn't take good care of it, so the overly long hair covered his eyebrows and eyes, revealing only the pale lower half of his face. Seeing this, Ziqingyu couldn't help but think in his heart, can this person really see things clearly in front of him? He didn't mean to laugh at this stranger, he was just curious. But he just thought about it for a moment, and the man in front of him lifted his hair, revealing a pair of cold eyes like amber. Don't worry, I can see. I just don't want to waste time cutting my hair. Hearing this, a hint of surprise flashed in Ziqingyu's eyes. He just glanced at the stranger and didn't stare at him curiously. But how did this stranger guess what he was thinking? Before he had time to think about it, he heard the man speak again. Ahem, your gaze is indeed not obvious. I just guessed it, based on the doubts most people have about me. They are all very curious about how I can see the road with such long hair. No, do you have the ability to read minds or something like that? He really couldn't help asking this time. Don't tell me that this is also your guess. I don't believe it. When Mengzin heard this, he couldn't help but curl the corners of his pale lips. If I said I could read minds, would you be willing to tell me the technique you used to dodge in the air just now? By the way, my name is Mengzin. Do you have the honor to meet you? Ziqingyu was originally a person who liked to study mechas, so when he heard the man in front of him mention mechas, his defenses that had just risen in his heart dropped a lot. Of course, he wouldn't say everything out loud, he just wanted to make 2 more like-minded friends. That's very simple. He thought for a moment before replying slowly, as long as you spread your wings at the moment of the attack, you can dodge in the air. There is no skill to speak of, it just requires reaction speed. And, I'm Ziqingyu, and I'm glad to be your friend. As soon as he finished speaking, he saw Mengzin staring at him closely. Seeing the other party's appearance, he couldn't help but ask with some confusion, what's wrong? I'm not hiding anything. This dodge in the air is really simple. All my friends know this trick. The reason why he was willing to share this trick with Mengzin was because there was really nothing to hide about this trick. It can be said that 80% of the military academy students can dodge in the air with this trick. I know you're not hiding anything, Mengzin replied with a smile after a while. Ahem, you are a very worthy friend to make. Let's add a Star Network friend for easy contact. Hearing this, he first glanced at Mengzin and then clicked on the light screen panel. For some reason, he always felt that Mengzin's smile now was more genuine than before. Was it because of his sincere answer just now? Or did the other party really think he was worth making friends with? In any case, at least he didn't feel that Mengzin had any ill intentions, so he still added the other party's Star Network friend. Then he sat down with Mengzin to chat. Because the other party played earlier than him, the two of them chatted until the end of the game that day. Both of them successfully got the qualification to advance, and they only had to wait until tomorrow to draw new opponents. I'm leaving first. My friends are still waiting for me outside. Although Zikingayu and Mengzin were chatting very speculatively, he was still thinking about Wen Jiu and others outside. Hearing this, Mengzin didn't say much polite words, just waved his hand gently to say goodbye. So Zikingayu also waved his hand to say goodbye, and then left the lounge with his things. As soon as he went out, he saw Wen Jiu and others, and a warm current surged in his heart. But he didn't stay there for long, when he was punched by Kaioshishi, who was running over. Little chestnut. Bad chestnut. Do you know how worried we are about you? He rubbed his shoulder, that was hit first, and then replied aggrievedly, is this your way of expressing your worry? I was only half dead after the game, and now I feel like I'm going to die right here. As soon as he finished speaking, Kaioshishi on the side quickly supported him with a worried look on her face. He wanted to pretend a little longer, but the next second he heard Wen Jiu say, since you are so seriously injured, you have to take more care of yourself when you go back. I plan to make some Coptis chinensis porridge tonight, and a big plate of buttermelon stuffed with meat for you. Hearing this, he immediately lost the idea of pretending to be weak. Sister Jiu, I was just joking with Shishi, can you please not make Coptis chinensis porridge for me? When he thought of the taste of Coptis chinensis porridge, he trembled as if he fell into an ice cellar. He little chestnut is really a person who is afraid of hardship. Stephanie came over with a smile and waved the blue flag in her hand. We are all here to support you today. Don't cry and say we didn't. Well, I don't like children crying the most. If you cry, I will cut off your nose. Today's update has been successfully delivered. Thank you little angels for your support and love. 030. Whisper, the little author has something to do today, so I will post an update in advance. The missing update will be made up tomorrow. Cac. Chapter 1279. Old Wang 1. Stephanie's strange remarks could no longer scare Zikingayu, so Zikingayu just made a face very calmly. Seeing this, Chujian, who was standing the farthest away, spoke up. He can still make a face and pretend to be weak. It seems that there is nothing wrong. I suggest that he be arranged for poison training tonight. Zikingayu was a little confused after hearing this. Didn't he get injured in the competition today? Why should he increase his training intensity? Because it was getting late, he could only ask Kaioshishi what was going on while walking. Although Kaioshishi was a little angry with him for pretending to be weak just now, she still told him what happened in the lounge. He then realized that, because he was careless and poisoned, Wen Jiu and others wanted to increase his training intensity. After he learned about this, he tried to defend himself, but Wen Jiu and others had made up their minds, and even his brother sent a message to express his support. In this regard, he could only accept it with sadness. Fortunately, Wen Jiu and his group were very kind, and did not rush to train Zikingayu tonight. So Zikingayu had a good night's rest, and went to the stadium, to prepare for the competition the next day. Zikingayu's luck was really bad. She drew another strong opponent in the second round. But compared with Huang Nan before, this opponent was relatively easy to deal with. So after playing 3 full games, Zikingayu finally entered the finals with 2 wins. After Zikingayu confirmed her place in the finals, Kaioshishi received the official notice to play. As the second batch of players to participate in the semi-finals, Kaioshishi was under more pressure than Zikingayu. Because there were many powerful players who were in the second batch, Kaioshishi started emergency special training after receiving the notice. In addition to the toxin resistance training added by Wen Jiu, there was also dangerous training provided by Stephanie. By the way, the dangerous training provided by Stephanie was the kind that would really kill Kaioshishi. At first, Zikingayu did not agree with Kaioshishi to do this kind of training, but he could not change Kaioshishi's firm will, so he could only let Kaioshishi fight with Stephanie for her life. Although Stephanie listened to Wen Jiu's words and showed mercy, Kaioshishi still suffered a lot of injuries in the process. Fortunately, these injuries were not in vain. The day before Kaioshishi participated in the competition, she successfully touched the threshold of the 7th level superpower. You know, she was a 6th level superpower 2 years ago, but no matter how hard she tried over the years, she could not improve. It was like an invisible wall blocking the way up. Unexpectedly, after being beaten by Stephanie for a few days, she actually felt the power to impact the 7th level superpower. Although this power was very weak and not enough for her to impact upward, she was very happy to have this little bit, because this at least proves that she still has room to move up. I used to think Feng Feng was the one who didn't care about her life, but I didn't expect you to be as serious as her. Look, there's not a single piece of good flesh on your body now. It was already night, and when Jiu was taking the ointment she made and applying it on Kaioshishi's legs little by little. Although she didn't make many pills during this period, she still made a lot of ordinary ointments. After all, Zikingayu and Kaioshishi were training intensively every day, and they had to use something to relieve muscle fatigue to persevere. Of course, these two people were very determined. Even if they were too tired to crawl the night before, they would still get up before sunrise to train the next day. Oh, I'm just worried that I'm not capable enough. Kaioshishi bit her lip half shyly and half helplessly. Actually, Feng Feng is quite lenient to me, don't blame her. Hearing this, Wen Jiu used his hands to dissolve the ointment and replied, why blame her for this? She is also trying to help you. It's just that you fight with her every day, which arouses her fighting desire. Now she has to pester me every day, and she will feel comfortable only when I beat her up. She didn't dislike Stephanie, but she was really amused by the fact that she came to her every day to fight. Although Stephanie had been studying in the military academy for more than a year, she was still slightly worse than her in terms of fighting. In Ruman's words, this might be talent. Therefore, every time Stephanie and Chujian came back from vacation, they would take her to the training ground to fight a few times before they felt comfortable. Ha Feng Feng, that's it. Kaioshishi smiled with a rare relaxed smile. Speaking of which, I'm going to participate in the semi-finals tomorrow. I hope my luck will be better and I can draw an easy opponent. After hearing this, Wen Jiu slowly said, in fact, with your current strength, I think you can handle whoever you draw. She was not bragging to comfort Kaioshishi. She really thought that the opponent was very strong now. Although Kaioshishi has a beautiful appearance like a porcelain doll, she is actually a hard-working girl who can fight and withstand pressure. For more than 2 years, Kaioshishi has been training hard every day. When the opponent is on vacation, she will even take the initiative to find Ruman or Leakinson for extra training. After countless days and nights of training, Kaioshishi has long transformed into a butterfly. Really? Kaioshishi couldn't help but laugh even more happily after hearing what Wen Jiu said. Then I have to work harder next time, and I must not let you down. Hearing this, Wen Jiu was silent for a moment before replying, you don't have to fight hard to be worthy of anyone, as long as you can be worthy of yourself. Although you are going to participate in the competition, I still hope you can relax and don't put too much pressure on yourself. In addition to applying medicine to Kaioshishi tonight, she also had another purpose, which was to make her relax. Because she knew that Kaioshishi had always wanted to prove herself, she was worried that her obsession would be too deep and would have the opposite effect. So she kept coaxing Kaioshishi to be happy and asked her not to put so much pressure on herself. Well, I know. Kaioshishi also heard what Wen Jiu meant, so she patted her chest and replied with a solemn oath, I will fight for myself, not for the affirmation of others. Wen Jiu was relieved after hearing this and applied medicine to Kaioshishi while talking. The ointment she made is much better than the one sold outside, and it will relieve pain and dissolve blood stasis in a short time after applying it. So after she confirmed that Kyoshish's injuries had recovered, she left her room and went to the living room to find Leo Wang. She had been discussing with Chu Jiayan these days about how to solve Leo Wang's problem. After much discussion, the two decided to first dismantle Leo Wang's cracked system and forcefully shut down some of Leo Wang's programs. For example, the information upload program. Today's first update has been delivered. Please check it out. Little Angels 030. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1280 Old Wang 2. Since Zikingayu hadn't slept yet, when Jiu called her to the living room. After the three of them gathered together and had a brief discussion, they began the plan to dismantle Leo Wang's program. First, Leo Wang had to be turned off, then transported to the workshop, and then the body and system were disassembled. Zikingayu originally wanted to be more careful and find a reason to trick Leo Wang into turning off the computer by himself, but Wen Jiu felt that it was really unnecessary, so he just pressed the shutdown button when he found Leo Wang. That's right, your sister Jiu is so simple and rude. Sister Jiu, won't that person find out if we do this? Zikingayu looked at Leo Wang, who closed his eyes and didn't know what to do for a moment. Hearing this, Wen Jiu, who was about to ask Chu Jiayan to move Leo Wang away, turned around and said, if he finds out, he'll find out. I hope he finds out. The reason why she didn't do anything to Leo Wang before was not because she was afraid of the person Mingyu mentioned, but because she was thinking about how to avoid hurting Leo Wang. That person used Leo Wang to secretly monitor her for such a long time, and it was lucky that she didn't rush to the Imperial Capital Star to kill that person. So if she was discovered, then she was discovered, as a small warning to that person. If that person wants to use other means to monitor her, don't blame her for revenge and debt. While thinking, she directed Zikingayu and Chu Jiayan to send the turned off Leo Wang to the studio on the 3rd floor. This studio was modified by Zikingayu himself after moving into the villa because he really needed a workshop to study various mechas. So with Wen Jiu's permission, he chose a room for the renovation. Fortunately, I have studied robots similar to Leo Wang's model, otherwise it would take more than a day to remove the outer shell protection. Alas, I don't know if it's because I have been with Leo Wang for a long time, but now I inexplicably feel like I'm dissecting him. Zikingayu was talking while operating on the workbench because he was a chatterbox who was super uncomfortable if he didn't talk. Hearing this, Wen Jiu, who was learning disassembly technology, couldn't help but hold his forehead and said, if you have it, then you have it, don't say it out. Besides, if it weren't for shutting down the program for uploading information, I wouldn't want to force Leo Wang to disassemble it. As soon as she finished speaking, Chu Jiayan, who was doing the disassembly work with Zikingayu, said calmly, don't think too much, Zio Banli, wait until the program for uploading information is shut down, then we can reassemble Leo Wang. It happens that you have a few new parts here, why not give them to Leo Wang as an apology? Zikingayu, who was a little sad before, immediately shook her head angrily to express her refusal after hearing this. No, I can help Leo Wang with housework as an apology, but I absolutely can't give him the new parts. As he spoke, he took out a set of brand new parts, and then continued to disassemble Leo Wang's body while saying, this is a new part 1 bought for Leo Wang 2 days ago, specially for upgrading household robots like him. So please, don't think about my other parts. He was not stingy with Leo Wang, but he had other parts to give to the other party. As for the new parts that Chu Jiayan just joked about, they were all bought by him for the mecha with great difficulty. You know, there are no parts that he likes on low-level planets, so all the parts for modifying the mecha are ordered through the store network. Even though transportation between planets is very convenient now, the cost of buying parts is still very high. TSK. Zio Bangli has learned to be smart now, Chu Jian joked, and then became serious. Zio Jiu. Connect these wires to the monitor. Hearing this, Wen Jiu hurriedly followed Chu Jian's instructions and connected the disassembled wires to the monitor next to him. Seeing countless garbled characters on the monitor, Chu Jian immediately put down his tools and sat over. His pair of bony hands kept sliding the electronic panel below. After about 4 or 5 minutes, Chu Jian returned to his usual laziness. Okay, we can start cracking the key, Chu Jian said, while tapping on the electronic panel. Leo Wang is a household robot from several years ago, so it won't take much time to crack it. Give me half an hour, maybe I can finish the cracking in less than half an hour. Although he is slightly inferior to Zikingayu in terms of mecha, he is still very good at cracking programs. After hearing this, Zikingayu nodded and said, then you will be responsible for cracking the program, and I will study Leo Wang's body and replace any damaged and aged parts. After all, they have been together for several years and have feelings for each other. Zikingayu thought that this was just the opportunity to replace the aged parts on Leo Wang. The two worked together and quickly completed the work. The aged parts on Leo Wang were replaced by Zikingayu, and Leo Wang's program for uploading information was also turned off by Chu Jian. They waited for a while before restarting the machine to welcome the brand new Leo Wang, who would not monitor. Miss Wen. Although Leo Wang is just a robot, he can still sense a lot of things. For example, Wen Jiu and the others have been a little cold to him recently, and he seems to be always being manipulated to do things he doesn't want to do. Miss Wen, it seems that someone has secretly tampered with my program these days, and it always automatically uploads information about you to the terminal. In fact, Leo Wang had long wanted to report this to Wen Jiu, but unfortunately his program was maliciously changed, blocking his independent thinking and self-action. So even if he wanted to report the situation, he couldn't take corresponding actions. Now that he woke up, he felt the difference in himself, so he quickly told Wen Jiu about the recent changes. After the voice fell, Wen Jiu and the others didn't change their expressions, as if they had guessed this long ago. Seeing this, he couldn't help but continue with some fear. In fact, I suspect that the owner of the highest authority is manipulating my behavior, causing me to be unable to act freely these days. After he said this, he paused for a moment before continuing that the owner of the highest authority is not Mu Leo, and he would not do such a despicable thing. Although his current master is Wen Jiu, he still wants to defend Mu Leo to avoid any unnecessary misunderstandings. After saying that, Wen Jiu finally spoke lightly. Don't worry, I don't doubt Mr. Mu, nor do I mean to disbelieve you. She still had a good impression of Leo Wang, and with the information given by Mingyu, she naturally would not blame Leo Wang and Mu. As the saying goes, every wrong has its perpetrator. If she wants revenge, she will naturally go after the person who is behind the trouble. Today's second update has also been delivered. Little angels, please check it quickly. 030. Chapter 1281. Her victory won. It's just that the person Mingyu mentioned is on the Imperial Capital Star, and Wen Jiu has no plans to develop there yet. If he wants to take revenge, he may have to wait until later. But Wen Jiu is a person who will take revenge. Even if she can't make that person bear serious consequences now, she won't let that person have an easy time. So she asked Leo Wang to download all the evidence of manipulation onto the mobile chip, and then send the mobile chip and desert to Mu Leo, who was far away on the Imperial Capital Star. Although she can't go to the Imperial Capital Star to take revenge now, she can ask Mu Leo to give that person a hard time. After temporarily solving Leo Wang's problem, Wen Jiu and the other two hurried back to the room to rest. Even if they can only rest for 2 or 3 hours, they have to lie on the bed to feel comfortable. However, because they have been up all night, the three of them got up, washed, and changed their clothes, and then ran to the storage room to get the nutrient solution. They didn't want to drink the nutrient solution because they were hungry, but they wanted to use the nutrient solution to refresh their minds. Although staying up all night is not a big deal, after everyone has been trained, they still want to be more awake. After all, they were going to watch Kyoshi participate in the semi-finals today, and they hoped that their mental outlook would be better. After taking a bottle of nutrient solution, people were indeed much more awake. Because Miss Tao and Tao Xiaotao were at home, and Leo Wang, who had recovered, was helping. Wen Jiu and others successfully had a ready-made hot breakfast. After everything was ready, they rushed to the competition venue. As before, Kyoshi needed to report to the staff and then go to the corresponding lounge to wait for the draw. Wen Jiu and others were also the same as before. After setting up the stall in the booth area, they went to the competition venue, where Kyoshi was. It must be said that Kyoshi's luck was indeed much better than that of Zikingyu. The opponent she drew in the first round was an ordinary player who was unknown to the public. At first, she was a little nervous, worried that the opponent would be a very capable person. Unexpectedly, she quickly won 2 games and got the qualification to continue the game. Even so, she did not take it lightly. After waiting in the lounge for a while, the opponent for the second round was drawn. I hope Shishi can draw a good opponent in the second round. Sigh. I feel so nervous now, even more nervous than when I played myself. Because Kyoshi was still waiting to draw her opponent for the second round, and the venue for the competition would be assigned only after the opponent was drawn. When Jiu and others were strolling in the booth area outside the venue. But Zikingyu kept clenching his fists and said a few words from time to time that he was worried about Kyoshi. It can be seen that he was more nervous than before. Don't worry, Shishi can handle any opponent she draws. Besides, I think Shishi should really hope that she can draw a strong opponent so that she can have a good fight to see her improved ability. Wen Jiu was not very worried about Kyoshi because she believed that she would win. And from her understanding of Kyoshi, she didn't want to win by luck, even though luck is also a kind of strength. So just by listening to Zikingyu's words, she felt that she was really thinking too much. After the words fell, Zikingyu's expression relaxed a little. That's right. Shishi is so good. No matter what kind of opponent she draws, she can win. As he was talking, he suddenly saw a familiar figure standing not far away. Mengzin. As soon as he saw the flowing golden hair and the frail body, he knew that the person was definitely Mengzin. Facts have proved that his eyesight is not bad. Mengzin came over after hearing his call, holding a lot of things bought from the snack stand in his hand. When he saw the other party's appearance, he walked forward enthusiastically. Mengzin, are you also coming to the stall area to buy food? Let me tell you, there is a store over there that tastes good. You can go buy a bunch and try it later. The main reason was that he admired Mengzin's knowledge and love for mechas, so he was so enthusiastic about such a person who he had only met once. Okay, thank you. Mengzin just pulled the corner of his mouth slightly and then threw the things in his hand into the trash can. Seeing this, a look of bewilderment appeared on Zikingyu's face. Aren't you going to eat these? He clearly saw that there were still a lot of snacks left in Mengzin's hands, and some of them were even packed away after only 1 or 2 bites. He had thought that Mengzin bought too much and couldn't eat it all, but he didn't expect that the other party would suddenly throw everything away. This operation really made him very confused. Is it strange? Mengzin took out a wet tissue and wiped his slender fingers clean. These things are not only unpalatable and not nutritious, but also waste my time when eating, which will reduce my research efficiency. Hearing this, Zikingyu frowned in disapproval. If you think so, why don't you just buy nutrient solution to solve it? Also, you bought these foods and threw them away now, which is a waste of hard-earned food. Although Zikingyu was also a young master who didn't know how precious food was before, he would just leave many things there after eating a few bites and not wanting to eat them. But since he made friends with Wen Jiu and went to the Desolate Star, he knew that food was hard to come by and should be cherished. So now he will try to eat everything he eats to avoid food waste. But I bought these things with star coins. Isn't it my freedom to deal with them as I want? Mengzin did not agree with what Zikingyu said, and his pale lips drooped at this moment. Besides, how many star coins can these foods be worth? If they are lost, they are lost. There is nothing to feel bad about. After this, not only Zikingayu felt dissatisfied, but even Wen Jiu and others who were watching the show were not very happy. Because they have all been to the Desolate Star and have farmed with the rabbit spirits of the Jade Rabbit clan. Even if there is high technology to help reduce farm work, farming is still a matter of hard work and sweat. So when Jiu walked up and took Zikingayu away without even giving Mengzin a look, as the saying goes, people with different paths cannot work together. According to Mengzin's concept, even if Zikingayu admired Mengzin's knowledge, he would not become friends with Mengzin. Seeing this, Mengzin had no intention of going forward to keep him, and just continued to stroll around the stall area alone. Alas, it turns out that we should spend more time together before considering whether to make friends. After walking a little further, Zikingayu sighed in frustration. He really admired Mengzin's research on mechas, but the other party's concept really disgusted him. Today's first update has been successfully delivered. Please check it out, little angels. 030. Chapter 1282 Her Victory 2. Although it was Mengzin's freedom to deal with the things he bought, it was really uncomfortable to waste food so righteously. The more he thought about it, the more depressed he felt. He even wanted to find Mengzin and try to correct his misconceptions. However, before he took any action, he was dragged to the front by Wen Jiu. Do you know that Mengzin? Although Wen Jiu had never met Mengzin before, she knew how talented he was. When she was browsing the information of all the contestants, she noticed the seemingly frail contestant. Although this person looked sickly, as if he would be knocked down with one punch, his fighting skills were not bad. Not to mention that he could beat all the opponents in the world. At least he was in the upper middle range. So Mengzin's appearance was very deceptive. However, what attracted Wen Jiu's attention was not Mengzin's sickly skin, but his level 5 gold ability and the mecha control that ordinary people could not match. Although Wen Jiu is already a level 7 dual powered person, ordinary people at her age only have level 2 powers, and those who can break through to level 3 powers are considered to have good talents. Therefore, Mengzin, who is the same age as her, can have level 5 powers at this age, which can be called a gifted talent. In addition to his strong ability to comprehend powers, Mengzin also has a high talent in mechas. Wen Jiu had asked Ruman for some competition videos before, so she had seen Mengzin driving a mecha in battle. Mengzin is best at mecha battles. It can be said that as long as there is a mecha battle, this person has never lost. It is because of this that she will remember this player named Mengzin. Well, when I participated in the semi-finals before, he and I were in the same batch and the same stadium. Although Zikingayu was very depressed at the moment, he still explained everything honestly. In fact, we are not very familiar with each other, but when we talked about mechas, we got along well, so we added each other as friends. He was mainly depressed that he finally met someone he got along with, but he didn't expect that such a factor would lead to a quarrel between the two of them. It turns out that people with different values can't get along. But then again, Wen Jiu's values seem to be very different from Stephanie's. How did the two of them get along so well until now? He thought about it, but in the end he didn't ask. It's okay. You will meet more like-minded people when you go to the military academy. Wen Jiu comforted Zikingayu out of consideration. Don't think too much now. Shishi has already drawn her opponent. There is more than an hour before the game starts. Hearing this, Zikingayu shifted his attention and became cheerful again. Then let's rush to the venue where Shishi is. Hurry up, there will be no good seats if you go late. In his heart, Shishi is more important. So he didn't think about Mengzin anymore and directly pulled Wen Jiu and others to the venue. Shishi's second round of the game was also very smooth. It can be said that she won without any effort, but such a victory did not make Shishi happy. Instead, she became more anxious. She was worried that after she won the victory easily in a row, she would think that other opponents would be easy to deal with, which would lead to her carelessness. So on the way home, she whispered her thoughts to everyone. Shishi, this is a victory you won with your strength. Why do you think like this? Zikingayu expressed his opinion in confusion. Although you played very easily in these few games, it's because you are stronger than them, not because they deliberately let you win. He thought Kyoshi should be happy that she won the game, but she was worried and anxious. Such Kyoshi made him worried. Yes, Shishi, you crushed them with your strength. What is there to worry about? Wen Jiu handed Kyoshi a piece of peach tart, and you don't have to think that you will slack off because you won too easily. You are not the kind of person who will enjoy yourself after tasting a little sweetness. In fact, she can understand Kyoshi's anxiety, but she still hopes that she can reduce her anxiety and not have too much burden and pressure. As soon as she finished speaking, Chujian, who was sitting in the front row, spoke up. The players you drew are not as good as you. If you don't win easily, then wouldn't you have wasted all these days of training? That's right. Kyoshi was silent for a moment before she spoke slowly. I'm just worried that I will become too proud, and I hope you can give me a good beating. Hearing this, Zikingayu immediately shook her head in disapproval. No, we won't beat you. You are so good and excellent. You should be a little proud. Don't always feel that you are unworthy. Although he often quarreled with Kyoshi on weekdays, he would never hit the other self-confidence. That's right, little chestnut's mouth is so sweet. Stephanie, who had been silent all the time, finally spoke. Little flower, you are such a beautiful and lovely flower. Don't let inferiority swallow you and turn you into a little grass. Seeing that her friends were comforting and praising her, Kyoshi's worries and anxieties were finally alleviated. In fact, it is not surprising that she would have such emotions. After all, she grew up in denial. When she was young, she was often scolded by Zhang Mian, saying that girls should be calm and steady like water and should not be as proud as the sun like boys. Once she was happy because of her excellence, Zhang Mian would use all kinds of words to knock her down, saying that this was to make her calm down and continue to work hard. It's just that the words Zhang Mian said were nothing more than brainwashing her to learn to hide her edge and not rush to the front like boys in everything. Girls who are too good are not wanted by boys. Boys like girls who are little birds and are good at acting coquettish. What's the use of girls being so good? It's better to learn to take care of yourself and communicate with others so that you can find a good husband in the future. Only women who are not wanted by men will be keen to stand out, so she must learn to hide behind men to be considered a good woman. At first, she would refute Zhang Mian's words, but every time she refuted the other party, she would be treated coldly, so she stopped refutation later and just silently told herself not to listen to these words. Thinking about it now, Zhang Mian was probably just worried that she was too good and would make Kyo Mingming, who was mediocre or even useless, uncomfortable. But she is no longer the powerless Kyoshi in the past, and she naturally can't be immersed in the shadow of her childhood. The second update of today has also been successfully delivered. Thank you little angels for your support and love. 030. Chapter 1283 Her Victory 3. With the patient comfort of Wen Jiu and others, Kyoshi quickly regained her usual vitality. As soon as she returned home, she devoted herself to training to prepare for the upcoming college competition finals. Since Kyoshi worked so hard, Zikingayu would naturally not be too lax. He took the initiative to ask Wen Jiu to increase the difficulty of toxin training in order to overcome his weakness of being easily poisoned. Although Wen Jiu was a little speechless about this request, she still increased the difficulty little by little. After all, overcoming this weakness is not only helpful for the finals, but also very helpful for Zikingayu's future entry into the military academy. Stephanie and Chujian are also continuing to do sparring work, so that Zikingayu and Kyoshi can improve in fighting and supernatural powers. So in the week leading up to the finals, the five of them were busy. As elders, Yu Rumen and Zhu Wangming were not idle. They would come to provide some help whenever they had free time. It's just that the former is now the vice president of the 3047 Academy and has to take into account the other finalists of the 3047 Academy. Therefore, he could only give some pointers to Zikingayu and Kyoshi during their training. It was impossible to give them special training to improve their strength too much. The latter provided some potions to relieve fatigue and heal injuries, as well as some new mental recovery potions that were recently developed. This mental recovery potion is mainly used to relieve people's tense spirits, so that Kaioshishi and Zikingayu, who are overworked, can quickly cheer up. Although Wen Jiu also made some potions for Kaioshishi and Zikingayu, the potion developed by Zhu Wangming is also very effective. So several potions were used together for Zikingayu and Kaioshishi, relieving a lot of fatigue from the high intensity training. A week passed quickly, and it was finally the long-awaited final. After the competition in the preliminary and semi-finals, there are only 24 contestants left. They have to grab the top 10 places in the finals, so that they can get a place to enter the military academy in advance. In other words, 14 contestants will be eliminated in the finals. Hiss, so nervous, so nervous. Zikingayu got up before dawn, and then he kept walking back and forth in the living room, as if only in this way could he relieve stress. Seeing this, Chujian, who had just returned from morning exercise, couldn't help but hold his forehead and said, "Little chestnut, calm down, our floor is about to be stomped through by you." As soon as the voice fell, Zikingayu finally stopped, and then looked at his feet nervously. I was scared to death. I thought the floor was really stomped through by me. I didn't think I walked with much force. Don't worry about the floor. Go and have breakfast first. Chujian was speechless about Zikingayu's behavior, so he went into the bathroom on the first floor and took a simple shower. When he came out with a wet hair, he saw that the other people were already sitting in the restaurant. Today's breakfast was made by Miss Tao and Leo Wang. Tao Xiaotao stayed in the company dormitory yesterday because Tao Iao had a new product ready to be launched. Although bionic robots do not need to sleep, Miss Tao and Tao Xiaotao still like to go into sleep mode like humans. When it is time to sleep, you two should relax in the competition today. Don't always think about those things. The most important thing is to have a good fight. Understand? Yu Ruman said while drinking pumpkin porridge. In order to let the two children go to the competition with peace of mind, she would go home to rest no matter how busy she was in the past few days. In this way, she can talk more with the two children and let them adjust their mentality before the competition. Hearing this, Kaioshishi quickly swallowed the fried dumplings in her mouth. I know, Teacher Yu. I will definitely compete easily and not put pressure on myself. She adjusted her mentality in a week and no longer thought about the past. It can be said that, even if she meets Zhang Mian and Kaio Wanzan now, she will no longer feel inferior. Alas, I have tried to relax as much as possible. Zikingayu took a bite of a cowpea bun, but when I think about the elimination of 14 out of 24 people, my little heart can't help but beat wildly. Although he was very confident in his ability, he couldn't help but get nervous when he thought that he might be eliminated. After he finished speaking, Wen Jiu on the side slowly said, "Then you have to keep your mouth shut, lest your little heart suddenly jump out." Sister Jiu. Zikingayu took a big bite of the bun, half aggrieved and half helpless. It's already this time, and you still want to joke. He was not blaming Wen Jiu, he was just too nervous. Hearing this, Wen Jiu first gave Zikingayu an amber walnut, and then said with a smile, "Why can't we laugh at this time? It's not like we haven't experienced things that are more shocking than the college competition finals." Zikingayu only remembered after hearing Wen Jiu's words that compared with what happened in the nursery base before, participating in the college competition finals was really not a big deal. Thinking of this, the nervousness in his heart instantly disappeared. It turns out that my sister Jiu has a good idea. He was no longer nervous at this moment, and even his appetite became a little bigger. After a bowl of hot pumpkin porridge, he immediately took 4 or 5 buns to eat. After eating and drinking, he and Kaioshishi set off first and went to the stadium to prepare for the game. Mainly because the college competition finals were held today, the officials specially sent staff to pick up the players. Therefore, when Jiu and others took the hovercraft to the official stadium after they finished packing at home. Although there are only 24 contestants in the final, the competition will be divided into 3 days. On the first day, the 4 contestants with the lowest points will be eliminated through a points competition. On the second day, the qualification to enter the top 10 will be competed in a one-on-one manner. As for the third day, it will be conducted in the form of a ring match to determine the first, second, and third places of the competition. Although the top 10 contestants can obtain the qualification to advance to the military academy in advance, the military academy will decide whether to accept them based on their ranking and performance in the competition. After all, there is a gap between military academies. If the contestants want to go to the 5 major military academies, they must get the top 3 in the competition. Only in this way can they be eligible to apply for the 5 major military academies and participate in the entrance examination. As soon as Wen Jiu and others arrived outside the stadium, they saw a sea of people. Seeing this, Wen Jiu decisively pulled everyone straight to the staff channel. Who said that the vendors setting up stalls are not considered staff? Today's first update has been successfully delivered. Thank you for the support and love of the little angels. 030. Chapter 1284 Her Victory 4. Because Yu Ruman was going to speak at the ceremony on behalf of the 3047th Academy, Wen Jiu took a group of friends and Zhu Wangming, who had come to the scene, and took the booth pass to the staff passage with the least traffic. Jiu is the one who has a solution, Zhu Wangming said, while wiping his sweat as he walked. It's crowded outside, and the weather is hot. I'll get heat stroke sooner or later. Hearing this, Chu Jian, who was walking next to him, couldn't help but chuckle. If you can get heat stroke at this temperature, then Uncle Zhu, your body is too weak. TSK, don't stay in the lab all the time on weekdays, and train more with Teacher Yu. Zhu Wangming was unhappy when he heard this. It's almost 38 degrees today. Isn't this temperature high? Oh, I think you've been on Kronos for too long. You go out every day in the high temperature of 40 to 50 degrees, so naturally you don't think the temperature here is high. In fact, his physical fitness is still very good. He exercises for a while every day to keep in shape. After all, the older a man gets, the looser his skin becomes. He needs to exercise more to keep his skin tight. In addition, he also had to keep his muscles in good shape and not become greasy and fat. Is the temperature on Kronos so high? Or is it only in Guangming City that the temperature is extremely high? Although Wen Jiu had learned about the geographical environment and climate conditions of Kronos on the Star Network, she really didn't know that the temperature in the area where Chu Jian and Stephanie were located was so high. At 40 or 50 degrees, wouldn't she be so hot that she would die? Hearing this, Chu Jian explained in a gentle voice, it's not always at 40 or 50 degrees, and all urban areas are covered by constant temperature protective covers. That's good. She breathed a sigh of relief after hearing this. Speaking of this, if I choose the medical soldier major, I should be in the Yangai City campus in the future, right? Brother Harry, do you know what the situation is over there? Although she had searched for information about Yangai City in her spare time, it is better to see it with your own eyes for many things. Moreover, she believed the words of Chu Jian and Stephanie more than the posts posted by those people on Xingbo. As soon as she finished speaking, Stephanie replied, I know Jiu. Come here, I'll tell you slowly. After the other party finished speaking, she took a step forward and pulled her over and moved forward quickly. Seeing this, Zhu Wangming, who was left behind, couldn't help but say helplessly, Nini, this child really can't live without Jiu. Look at the way she is anxious to pull Jiu away, just like a child who is afraid of having his toys taken away. Everyone knows that Stephanie is the most attached to Wen Jiu. If it weren't for Wen Jiu who kept persuading Stephanie would have taken revenge on society long ago. Although Stephanie has been receiving psychological treatment, it is Wen Jiu who can really restrain her from doing illegal things. She relies on Wen Jiu to tie her down. Chu Jian curled the corners of his mouth nonchalantly, his pair of purple peach eyes full of coldness. Forget it, let's catch up first. Watching the game is more important. Upon hearing this, although Zhu Wangming followed Chu Jian to the venue, he always felt that something was not right between him and Stephanie. Chu Jian and Stephanie used to be able to coexist peacefully, but how come the two of them are becoming more and more at odds with each other now? Even he, who seldom goes back to Wen Jiu's house, can feel that the two of them are incompatible. But watching the game is more important right now, so he silently shut his mouth and didn't ask anything. Several people arrived at the venue at different speeds, and after verification and security checks, they entered the venue to find seats and sit down. The venue used to host the finals is the largest venue A, which is said to be able to accommodate nearly 500,000 spectators at the same time. Let's go. Our seats are in VIP area 3. Wen Jiu saw Chu Jian and Zhu Wangming coming, and then took Stephanie to the seating area. I specifically asked Zizu for a few good seats, otherwise we would have to sit there today. The above she was talking about was the ordinary grandstand area. There was an area over there that was reserved for vendors, so Wen Jiu and the others had been looking for seats there before. This was their first time in the VIP grandstand area. Hearing this, Zhu Wangming nodded happily. I didn't expect that I would be able to sit in the VIP area when I came to watch the game for the first time. I heard my colleagues gossiping privately, and they said that it was particularly difficult to reserve seats for this college competition. I heard that some people bought seats from merchants at high prices on local forums in order to watch the college competition. In fact, he really wanted to watch the college competition, but unfortunately he was very busy with work recently. Wen Jiu turned around and asked when he heard this. Buy at a high price? How high is the price? When Zhu Wangming heard this, he knew that Wen Jiu had the intention of making star coins. I advise you not to think about selling seats. Several of us have already taken up all the seats. After the voice fell, Wen Jiu smiled slightly. I didn't say I wanted to sell seats. I was just curious about how high the price was. Zhu Wangming sat down first and then continued to gossip. I've been busy with work recently and haven't talked much with my colleagues. I only know that the seats for the semi-finals have been sold for 150,000 star coins. 500,000 star coins. Wen Jiu widened his eyes in shock. If the semi-finals seats have been sold for 500,000 star coins, then the seats for the finals must be nearly 1 million star coins. It has to be said that she was tempted. It's a pity that she can't bring too many people in, otherwise she will really sell seats on the forum. After all, each seat is nearly 1 million, and if she doesn't sell more, she can earn nearly 2 million star coins by selling two. Alas, what a pity. What a pity. The more she thought about it, the more depressed she felt, and the corners of her mouth slowly drooped. Seeing this, Zhu Wangming pinched his eyebrows helplessly. Okay, don't think about selling seats to make star coins. Just watch the game between Xiao Bangli and Xiao Huahua first. Also, how was your conversation with Nini just now? He said this mainly to change the subject, so that Wen Jiu wouldn't continue to think about selling seats. It's okay, Wen Jiu answered while looking around. She just told me about the situation at the Yangai campus and asked me to buy the necessary things on Star Online before I go. For example, the never out of power night light and the glitter that shines brighter than the Sunday. As she spoke, she paused because she saw three very familiar people standing in the passage of VIP area 4. Hey, isn't that Zhang Dazhu, Cairo Shameless, and Cairo Little Waist? Stephanie also spotted three acquaintances not far away. Strange. Why are they here? Well, are they here to harass Xiaohua again? Today's second update has also been delivered smoothly. Please check it out. Little Angels. 030. Chapter 1285 Unreachable 1. Zhu Wangming originally wanted to take a few photos as a souvenir, but when he heard Stephanie's words, he looked over. You don't know until you see it, and you will be shocked. Is the person standing next to Kaio Wan's Han Zirong from the Han family? He had been to the Han family several times on official business before, so he had seen Han Zirong and Han Yasheng. But he didn't like those two people, so he didn't even add their Star Network accounts. There was no way. What he disliked most was this kind of nobleman who thought he was superior to others. Hearing this, Wen Jiu couldn't help but ask in a puzzled voice, who is Han Zirong? It's Han Yasheng's brother. Seeing that Wen Jiu didn't know Han Zirong at all, he patiently explained to him, you should still remember Han Yasheng? He was Xiaohua's opponent in the preliminary round. The outside world expected him to win a place steadily, but he didn't expect that he would be eliminated by Xiaohua in the preliminary round. Han Yashin was the second place in Han's academy after all, and he had the support of the wealthy Han family behind him. Therefore, many professionals analyzed the situation before the competition and all agreed that Han Yashin was one of the people who would definitely get a place. Han Yashin never thought that he would meet the unknown Kyoshi in the preliminary round, and was eliminated in the most embarrassing manner, instantly becoming a big joke in the celebrity circle. It was precisely because of this that Han Yashin had some psychological problems after the defeat, and needed a psychologist to adjust every day to stay calm. After Han Yashin had problems, the Han family also became turbulent. It was a pity that Zhu Wangming didn't know the specific situation, so these were the only things he could tell Wen Jiu. Wen Jiu remembered that he had seen this Han Zirong in the VIP room before when he heard Zhu Wangming's words. The other party had been making sarcastic remarks to Kyoshi at the time, so she didn't even want to look at this person. This caused her to not remember that there was such a person at the first time. Hey, this Han Dasher is not going to help Han Ursha get revenge. Stephanie was also listening with relish and quickly gave nicknames to the two young masters of the Han family. Hearing this, Zhu Wangming suppressed his smile and replied, "It shouldn't be the case. Isn't it normal to win and lose in a competition? Besides, our Zhao Huahua is no longer a member of the Kyo family. It's useless for Han Zirong to get close to the Kyo family." Zhu Wangming's words had just fallen when Han Zirong enthusiastically took Kyo Mingming's hand and sat down in the front row of VIP area 4. Seeing this, Wen Jiu, who had been observing the movements over there, couldn't help but raise his lips. After all, not everyone can look at winning or losing calmly. Some people just care about this. And we all know that Zhao Huahua is not a member of the Kyo family, but it doesn't mean that others know that Zhao Huahua is not a member of the Kyo family. Then should we do something to help Zhao Huahua? After Zhu Wangming glanced at Han Zirong, his words became sarcastic. This young master of the Han family really loves his younger brother. In order to help his younger brother avenge his previous shame, he did not hesitate to lower himself to please the Kyo family. After the voice fell, Chu Jian, who had not participated in the discussion, finally spoke. "Are you sure he loves his younger brother? This is not necessarily the case. In my opinion, he should deliberately please the Kyo family in order to bring down his younger brother." After all, Chu Jian had experienced the viciousness of people outside, so it was difficult for him not to speculate Han Zirong with the worst mind. As the few people chatted, it was time for the speech session before the finals. That is, the soldiers in charge of Planet 3047 spoke with representatives from various colleges. After all, the next event is the final of the college competition, and the organizers will naturally show up to show their presence. Moreover, this year's college competition has attracted much attention, so the official will naturally make it extra grand. Countless electronic fireworks were launched at once, and the colors were colorful and beautiful for a while. Stephanie always likes beautiful things, so she decisively clicked on the light screen panel to take pictures. However, after she took a few pictures of electronic fireworks, she moved the camera down and aimed it not far away. Because her movements were very slight, as if she was taking pictures of the scenery in the sky, she did not attract the attention of the three people from the Kyo family and Han Zirong. "Mom, when can I see Sister Kyo?" Kyo Mingming was sitting in his seat with an impatient look on his face, pouting his mouth and making his fat face bulge, as if oil would overflow from his face in the next second. Hearing this, Zhang Mian first sprayed a layer of cooling spray on Kyo Mingming, and then coaxed her in a gentle voice. "It's almost time. Your sister has to finish this competition first, and then she can go home with us to accompany you to study and play." In fact, she didn't want to watch Kyoshi's competition at all. She was already disappointed with this heartless daughter. But Han Zirong suddenly came to her house a few days ago and said that the Han family was willing to continue to discuss the marriage with the Kyo family, but the premise was that Kyoshi came back in person. If she didn't eat such a big pie, she would be a fool. So she agreed and said that she would definitely let Kyoshi come out in person to discuss the marriage. Han Zirong was very happy after getting her promise. 2 days later, he sent her a powerful teacher, saying that he could cultivate Kyo Mingming's learning ability in advance. After the Han family and the Kao family decided on the marriage and got married, Kao Mingming would be sent to the academy on the advanced planet. With such benefits, even if she didn't dare to provoke Kao Shishi, she had to dare to provoke her. But Kao Shishi had long blocked her and other members of the Kao family's Starnet accounts, leaving only Kao Jiwan and Kao Xiaoli's Starnet accounts. Kao Jiwan would never help her pass on a message to plead for her, and it was good enough that the other party didn't rush into the Kao family and scold her. Kao Xiaoli became rebellious a year ago, and also followed Kao Jiwan and Kao Shishi to apply for a preparatory military academy, saying that she wanted to become a powerful person like her two sisters. This matter made Zhang Qinan very angry, and she also laughed at the other party a lot. In short, she can't find anyone to help pass on the message and plead for her, so she can only rely on herself to bring Kao Shishi back to the Kao family to discuss marriage. It just so happened that Han Zirong invited their family to watch the game, and she could take this opportunity to get in touch with Kao Shishi. But she still had to find a way to meet Kao Shishi. Aunt Zhang, how is Shishi preparing? Han Zirong looked at Zhang Mian with a smile. She must have trained a lot recently, right? Hearing this, Zhang Mian quickly replied, yes, she has trained a lot. The child is very hardworking. She goes to train with the teacher as soon as she wakes up every day. She doesn't have time to eat when I bring her lunch. Many times, she practices until the evening before eating. Although she didn't know whether Kao Shishi had trained or not, she still had to pretend to be aware of it. The first update of the day has been successfully delivered. Please check it out. Little Angels 030. Chapter 1286 Unreachable 2. Meanwhile, Kao Shishi and Ziqinggai were both in the lounge. They had already finished the pre-match inspection for today, and the next thing to do was to wait for the staff to call them. The contestants whose names were called had to rush to the exit immediately and then go to the elevator to participate in the lottery ceremony. Oh, Shishi, you are here. I finally found you. Kao Shishi, who had been resting with her eyes closed, opened her eyes upon hearing this and saw a girl with a neat ponytail in front of her. The other party's golden curly hair swayed back and forth, which was quite playful. Seeing this, she couldn't help but smile and said, it's you, Minna. I wanted to send you a message to communicate before, but I didn't know that I couldn't use the wisdom ring after coming in today. She naturally knew that Minna Hearn had entered the finals, and she had congratulated her on Star Network before. After all, the relationship between the two was pretty good, and they had the same ideas about fighting. So she would not ignore or envy this excellent friend. It's okay, I only found out after I came in. Minna Hearn waved her hand nonchalantly and then sat in the empty seat on the left of Kao Shishi. Actually, I was very nervous today. I was so worried that I would be eliminated. Hearing this, Kao Shishi first patted Minna Hearn's hand to comfort her and then whispered, don't worry, with your strength, you will definitely get a place in the top 10. Although she spent most of her off-season training hard, she still spent some time watching game videos. After all, there is a saying that goes, knowing yourself and the enemy will ensure victory in 100 battles. Although she and Minna Hearn had played against each other in the internal competition of 3047 Academy, the other party did not relax too much after the internal competition and still maintained a certain amount of training to improve herself. Therefore, Minna Hearn can be said to have performed quite well in this college competition. Alas, my brother comforted me in the same way, but I was very nervous. Minna Hearn acted like a spoiled child to Kao Shishi as she did before. By the way, Shishi, I have a question that I have wanted to ask you for a long time. If you answer it, I might be able to relax a little bit. Kao Shishi asked curiously when she heard this. What is the question that requires you to act spoiled and naughty in front of me? As soon as the voice fell, Minna Hearn blinked cunningly. Hey, I just want to ask you, if you win the game today, can you invite me to your house for dinner? Minna Hearn was so greedy for the food made by Wen Jiu, but unfortunately her relationship with him was not so good, and she was really embarrassed to go to his house for a meal. After thinking about it, she set her sights on Kao Shishi. Anyway, Kao Shishi and Wen Jiu lived together, and the two of them were very close. If Kao Shishi invited her to her house for dinner, the lovely Wen Jiu would probably not refuse. Great. You actually have this plan. Little Xiaomiya, you've learned bad things. Kyoshi actually had a rough idea of Minahan's thoughts, because the other party had hinted to her many times before that she wanted to have a free meal. It's just that Wen Jiu has been very busy recently. If she and Zikingayu hadn't come to participate in the competition, the other party would not have much time to accompany them. So every time Minahan mentioned the matter of free meals, she and Zikingayu would pretend to be confused and try to deal with it. But this time, she had already mentioned this to Wen Jiu, and the other party said that as long as Minahan mentioned it again, he would agree. It's just cooking a meal. It's not that tiring. So after teasing Minahan for a few words, she agreed to the other parties coming to her house for a happy free meal. Okay, don't chat for now, we are going to start calling names soon. Seeing that the two girls were chatting very happily, Zikingayu didn't interrupt them and didn't speak until the staff came in to check the number of players. Hearing this, Kyoshi and Minahan immediately stopped talking and began to wait quietly for the staff to call their names. Unlike the lounge that was full before, there were only more than 20 people in the lounge at this time, making the huge lounge look empty. It was also because of this that Zikingayu saw Mengzin sitting alone in the corner at a glance. In addition to Mengzin, 2 other contestants from Hong's Academy also entered the finals this time. It's just that the 2 contestants sat far away, as if they were deliberately keeping a distance from Mengzin. Seeing this, Zikingayu couldn't help but feel a little pity in his heart. He didn't understand why such an excellent person like Mengzin was isolated by others. But no matter how much he thought about it and how much he pitied her, he didn't go to talk to Mengzin after all. On the one hand, he and Mengzin were not familiar with each other, and it would be very strange for him to rush to talk to her like this. On the other hand, he was very concerned about what happened before, but Mengzin didn't care about his opinion at all. Although they didn't have much contact, he could be sure that he and Mengzin were not the same kind of people. So he only glanced at Mengzin, then retracted his gaze and continued to wait. Not long after, the staff began to call out the names of the contestants in the lounge. Everyone had to go on stage together to meet the audience and then randomly call out the names according to the system to draw numbers. The 2 people with the same number will be the opponents of the competition. Although Kyoshi and Zikingayu have been on stage several times, this is the first time they have been on stage together waiting for the number drawing. So the 2 of them stood together silently, just like before at the nursery base. Just being close to each other can give each other strength. The next is the moment everyone is looking forward to. Let us applaud the 24 contestants who have entered the finals of the college competition this time. Wen Jiu, who was sitting in the audience, was a little drowsy at first. When she heard that the contestants were about to appear, she perked up and moved her eyes to the duel stage. After the host's voice fell, several heads appeared on the duel stage. I have to say that this scene is really funny. Fortunately, the lifting platform reached its highest point within a few seconds, allowing the contestants to stand on the duel stage intact and allowing the audience to see the appearance of the 24 contestants clearly. It's Xiaohua and Xia Banli. Stephanie saw Kyoshi and Zikingayu standing together at a glance. Oh, why are these 2 standing together? I just wanted to take some beautiful photos of Xiaohua, but now I have to take Xia Banli in as well. She was just saying it casually, and she didn't really mean not to take photos of Zikingayu. She treated Zikingayu and Kyoshi equally. Hearing this, Zhu Wangming and Chu Jiayan also looked for the 2 children. Because there were only 24 contestants on stage this time, they quickly found Zikingayu and Kyoshi. Today's second update has also been delivered smoothly. Thank you little angels for your support and love 030. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1287 Unreachable 3. The 24 contestants from different colleges on the stage stood in 2 rows and waited for the number drawing after the host briefly introduced their backgrounds one by one. As before, the contestants whose names appeared on the display screen immediately stepped forward a few steps to the numbered drawing table, and the system randomly assigned numbers. Kyoshi was assigned the number 6, and Zikingai was assigned the number 11. After all the contestants had their numbers, the big screen showed today's schedule. Because the finals were all held in Stadium A, Wen Jiu and others did not need to change venues. They sat in their seats and waited for the first game to start. Shishi actually drew a contestant from College 3047 this time. I didn't expect this to happen in the finals. Zhu Wangming sighed softly while eating a small cake. He didn't expect Kyoshi to have such a good luck in drawing opponents. Unlike the unlucky Zikingai, who drew another one who was good at fighting. Hearing this, Wen Jiu replied without surprise, after all, there are only 24 contestants left, and 4 of them are from 3047 Academy, so it is normal for them to bump into each other. It was quite surprising that 4 of the 10 contestants sent by 3047 Academy entered the finals. In addition to Kyoshi, Zikingai and Minahin, who Wen Jiu knew well, there was also a senior who had been studying at 3047 Academy for 5 years. This senior was a 3rd level wood type ability user, which was already a top-notch existence among ordinary people. However, compared with various battles, she was better at pharmacy and medical theory. Therefore, Wen Jiu had met this senior several times at Teacher Yan's place. It's a pity that this girl met Zhao Huata, although Zhu Wangming didn't know the senior sister Wen Jiu was talking about. He could hear the other party's admiration, but it's okay. With her ability, she can definitely pass the graduation exam and be promoted to the military academy. Wen Jiu sighed after hearing this, and then slowly said, if she didn't meet Zhao Huata, maybe she could be promoted to the military academy in the same batch as us. It's a pity that things are unpredictable. Because Kyoshi and this senior sister have fought several times, no one is worried about the battle between the two. At present, the only one they have to worry about is Zikingai, who has drawn a strange opponent. The 3rd place of Mastona College. Zhu Wangming looked at the information on the light screen panel. Another one who is good at fighting and supernatural combat. What kind of luck does this little chestnut have? Although he was too busy to watch the game before, he still knew the situation of the game clearly. For example, Kyoshi defeated Han Yashin in 3 moves, and Zikingai beat 2 big opponents in a row. Chu Jian couldn't help but chuckled. Zhao Bangli is probably entangled by the black air and needs 2 little foxes to save him. He paused for a moment when he said this, then turned his head to look at Wen Jiu and continued, by the way, have they arrived at the desolate planet? How is the situation of the Snow Fox clan? He remembered that the 2 little foxes had been out for a long time, and they should have arrived at the desolate planet. Hearing this, Wen Jiu realized that he had not told others about the desolate planet. It was not because her memory was too bad, but because nothing big happened on the desolate planet, so she didn't bring it up. The 2 little foxes arrived at the desolate planet a few days ago, and then returned to the Snow Fox clan with the help of the Dog Demon clan. After they returned to the Snow Fox clan, they found out that Huyi had an accident and was seriously injured and unconscious. Seeing that the situation was not good, Mr. Hu was worried that Huyi would die, so he called back all the Snow Fox spirits outside. This is why after Hukiki and Hubaba left planet 3047, other Snow Fox spirits also came to Wen Jiu to ask for leave and said they wanted to go back. But after the Snow Fox spirits arrived at the Snow Fox clan, Huyi was out of danger and woke up. It's just that Huyi, like the previous Mirage Zing, forgot a lot of things after waking up and even didn't remember how he was injured. Therefore, Hukiki and Hubaba stayed in the Snow Fox clan temporarily, wanting to find out what happened to Huyi that made him like that. In addition, the 2 little foxes also brought good news to Wen Jiu. That is, Mirage Zing's illness is about to heal, and the other party can now remember a lot of things from the past. It's just that some things are best discussed in person, so Wen Jiu can only wait until the end of the game and go to the Desolate Star in person. In any case, Wen Jiu can put his mind at ease for now and accompany Kyoshi and Zikingai to finish the competition. Nothing serious happened. Zhu Wangming breathed a sigh of relief after hearing the whole story. To be honest, I miss the 2 little foxes. The Beijing style shredded pork with sauce, made by Hukiki, is really delicious. Every time I come back to eat, I can eat several big bowls. Before, when Hukiki and Hubaba were both there, the two little foxes were responsible for making breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now that they have both returned to the desolate star, they can only let Miss Tao and Leo Wang come. Although the food made by Miss Tao and Leo Wang is also very good, Zhu Wangming just feels that it lacks an indescribable taste. As soon as he finished speaking, Chu Jiayan couldn't help but chuckle and said, when Hukiki was here, you thought it was painful to eat Beijing style shredded pork every meal. Now that Hukiki is gone, you miss her. TSK, she's so fickle. Zhu Wangming wanted to refute when he heard this, but before he could open his mouth, he saw the host reading out the rules. Without asking too much, you can know that the first game is about to begin. For this match, the system will randomly draw a competition format for the contestants, which is weapon combat, superpower battle, and everyone's favorite mecha showdown. No matter which one is drawn, there will be only one round of competition. After one round, the winning contestant will score 1 point, and the losing contestant will score no points. After all 24 contestants in this match have finished the game, the system will assign them numbers for the second game to continue the match. There will be a total of 5 games today. After the 5 games are over, the 4 contestants with the lowest points ranking will be eliminated. So please cheer for the contestants and fight hard to win in every game. After the host explained the rules of today's game, he began to introduce the next contestants. The next contestants to appear are Min Ahern from 3047 College and Li Pio from Donghae College. Both contestants are excellent girls, and they are both level 3 Earth-type superpowers. Alas, host, I hope they don't get to play superpowers, otherwise we will see an Earth feast. As soon as the voice fell, the camera immediately gave the 2 contestants who were about to draw the competition format. Today's update has been successfully delivered. Please check it out. Little Angels 030. Chapter 1288 Unreachable 4. Min Ahern's luck was pretty good. She drew the weapon fighting that she was best at. However, the variables in weapon fighting were relatively large, so she didn't dare to relax because of this. Besides, the contestants who could break through many tests and enter the finals were all very powerful. No one got to this position by fishing in troubled waters all the way. So the moment she saw the format of the competition, she thought about what weapon to choose later. However, the competition was more strict and fair than she imagined. The weapons used in the weapon fighting were also random, and for the sake of fairness, the 2 people would use the same weapon. In other words, if you want to win, you still have to rely on your own strong ability. This competition is quite interesting. The system randomly assigns the same weapon, which tests the contestant's familiarity with the weapon. Chu Jiayan is most interested in weapon fighting, so he is not as lazy as before. His pair of peach blossom eyes with water light are curved because of a smile, attracting the attention of many girls around. Indeed, it seems that the authorities really want to make a name for themselves with this college competition. Zhu Wangming, who was standing aside, pinched his brows helplessly after noticing the girls' gazes. Seeing this, Chu Jiayan just raised his mouth lightly, as if it was commonplace. After all, college competitions rarely have such a high-profile moment. Those who live on intermediate and advanced planets usually don't care about the things of our low-level planets. He didn't have any ill intentions, but he didn't like some people who were arrogant because of their good backgrounds. He had met many such people in the Rear Military Academy. That's true. Zhu Wangming nodded in agreement. Although the general competition system of the college competition is issued by the federal headquarters, each low-level planet that hosts the competition will make some modifications based on the actual situation. On the one hand, it is to allow students to better adapt to the competition, and on the other hand, it is to attract people from other planets to watch the competition. After all, if you want to upgrade from a low-level planet to a medium-level planet, the popularity of the planet is also one of the assessments. However, the modified college competition system on the low-level planets needs to be sent to the staff of the federal headquarters for review and filing in order to ensure the fairness and rationality of the college competition. The 2 of them were chatting here, and Wen Jiu and Stephanie were not idle either. While the system actually randomly assigned the blank scimitar. Stephanie blinked with interest, and her eyelids painted with light blue sequins shone like water. Hearing this, Wen Jiu turned off the light screen panel. Blank scimitar? This is the new military knife launched by the federal headquarters last year, right? She has been training and working at the same time over the years, so she naturally pays special attention to these military news. She will do a simple understanding of any new mechas and new firearms. Yes, Stephanie looked at the big screen happily. I'm really looking forward to this game. I haven't seen a scene of blood and flesh flying all over the ground for a long time. I feel happy just thinking about it. After she finished speaking, the father and daughter who were sitting next to her moved to the side tacitly. Others looked at her in surprise or wonder, but she nonchalantly supported her face with her hands and waited for the game to start, as if she didn't notice the strange gazes of those people. Seeing this, Wen Jiu didn't say much, just waited for the official start of the game with Stephanie. A few minutes later, the host announced the contestants to go on stage. Minahan and another contestant were sent up by the elevator. Although they stood on the stage together, they were nearly 10 meters apart, and there was a wall with green light between them. I think it should be the official to prevent the contestants from taking action before the system sound falls. This game is about to start. Please pick up your weapons and get ready within 1 minute. The host has left the duel stage, and the system that issued the prompt sound at this time is the system dedicated to the game. Countdown 59, 58, 57. Minahan and another contestant retreated to the left and right sides to pick up the designated weapons as required when they heard the prompt sound. Countdown 10, 9, 8, 3, 2, 1. The game officially begins. When the prompt sound disappeared, Minahan rushed forward. The opponent who was fighting against her did the same, rushing over with the scimitar tightly in hand. Seeing that the two were about to collide in the middle of the duel arena, she suddenly stepped on the ground and jumped back half a meter away, forcibly increasing the distance of half a meter to 1 meter. The sudden extra distance caught the other player off guard, so he did not break in time when running forward. Minahan seized this opportunity and kicked the man's shoulder with a raised leg, kicking him back several meters. Then, she took advantage of his unpreparedness and threw the scimitar in her hand. Unfortunately, her opponent reacted after being kicked a few meters away and dodged the deadly scimitar flying towards her in time. Seeing this, she had to move and find an opportunity to catch the scimitar flying back. Mina seems to be very familiar with this blank scimitar, Zhu Wangming asked. Although he had not been in battle for a long time, he still cared about military news. What is her origin? This blank scimitar was a new military knife launched by the Federation headquarters last year. You should know that there are several military districts that have not yet popularized the use of this scimitar, let alone the preparatory military academies on low-level planets. Therefore, Zhu Wangming was very curious about why Minahan was so familiar with this new military knife. If I remember correctly, she seems to have a brother in the military district. Wen Jiu thought seriously before answering. It should be that the military district, where her brother is located, has been allocated this military knife, so she is so familiar with it. Although she and Minahan experienced the Dianai Forest incident together, their relationship has always been uneven. It's not that the two of them can't talk, but that the two of them have too little contact. After all, she hasn't been to 3047 Academy 4 classes since she came back from Brickstar. Several people were chatting and watching the game. Minahan was looking for opportunities steadily, without any panic on her face. On the other hand, the other player had an impatience that was hard to hide on his face, and the fine bangs on his forehead were wet with sweat. Soon, Minahan found another opportunity, threw her opponent to the ground with an over-the-shoulder throw, and then put the machete to the opponent's throat. I give up. I give up. The first update of the day has been delivered. Thank you little angels for your support, and love 030 chapter 1289 Unreachable 5. The result of this weapon fighting competition was obvious, and the audience couldn't help but applaud. Wen Jiu and others who were watching from the audience were no exception. They all applauded Minahan's victory. After all, such a wonderful game is quite exciting. Soon, Minahan and another contestant left the stage together and were sent to the medical room for treatment by the staff. After the two of them left, the host quickly introduced the next group of contestants. One group of contestants after another competed, and soon it was Kyoshishi's group's turn to appear. The next two contestants are very predestined. They are not only students from the same college, but also beautiful young ladies with perfect faces. Hearing this, Wen Jiu couldn't help but frowned with some disgust. Stephanie and others sitting on the side were the same. They all disliked the host's lines. Generally speaking, after the host finishes speaking, the audience should give some applause. But this time, after the host's voice fell, there was only sparse applause on the field. It's not hard to see that most people don't like this rhetoric. Ahem. Let me introduce the two contestants first. The male host standing on the stage also noticed something strange, so he quickly changed the topic for fear of making the same mistake again. First of all, they are both from 3047 Academy. Secondly, they are both good at close combat. Hahaha, that's why I said they are destined to be together. And this contestant named Kyoshishi is a rare 6th level psychic in this year's academy competition. By the way, another 6th level psychic, Zikingayu, is also from 3047 Academy. TSK. It seems that 3047 Academy's ability to cultivate talents is getting better and better. Kyo Mingming was originally making a fuss about eating mung bean popsicles in front of Zhang Mian, but he became quiet when he heard the host mention Kyoshishi's name. It's not that he wanted to meet this biological sister, but he was curious why the audience exclaimed in surprise after the host finished speaking. Isn't it just a 6th level psychic? What's so great about it? He saw those famous military soldiers on the Star Network, but they were all level 7 and 8 superpowers. Kyoshishi was just a level 6 superpower. What on earth were people so surprised about? Just when he was secretly wondering, he heard the people sitting in front of him whispering, "Does Kyoshishi have a special background? I heard that she won the previous few games without much fighting. I'm afraid she bribed those players with her connections." Shh, keep your voice down. Didn't someone check Kyoshishi's background? She's just a girl from an ordinary rich family, without a big background. If she doesn't have a big background, how did she get to the finals? I don't believe that such a beautiful girl can get to this point by her own strength. She looks so delicate, how can she bear the hardship of training? Yeah, aren't all these delicate girls? Although the voices of these people were not loud, they were loud enough for the people around them to hear clearly. After hearing their discussions, some people couldn't help but show an expression of watching a good show. Some people rolled their eyes in disgust, using their expressions to show that they did not agree with what those people said. For example, Tong Ying, who had just arrived at the venue. Because she arrived a little late, and she was not very familiar with the road, she came to VIP Area 4 by mistake. She originally wanted to send a message to Kyo Xiaoli to ask her where VIP Area 6 was, but she didn't expect that before she could open the light screen panel, she heard someone saying bad things about Kyoshishi. Don't watch the game if your hearing is not good, and go to 3047 hospital to make an appointment. If it really doesn't work, I can mercifully send you to an intermediate planet to have a look. As soon as she finished speaking, the few people who had been maliciously speculating about Kyoshishi turned around. Seeing this, she rolled her eyes again and continued. The host said that Kyoshishi is a level 6 superpower. Do you think the level of superpowers can be faked by background? Also, as far as I know, Kyoshishi faced Han Yashin in the preliminary round. That Han Yashin is not only the second place in Han's college, but also the son of the Han family. Do you think such a person would be short of star coins? Can you stop thinking about other things when you see a beautiful girl? Excuse me, are contestants with outstanding looks not allowed to participate in the college competition? I'm really convinced. I'm annoyed when I see a chatterbox. After she finished speaking, the people who talked about Kyoshishi were so angry that their faces turned green. One of the young men even clenched his fists, as if he was going to rush over to quarrel with her. This made her swallow her saliva nervously. After all, she was an ordinary person with no superpowers and weak body. Fortunately, passers-by who were very dissatisfied with those people soon stood up and agreed with her words just now, speaking for Kyoshi. Seeing this, she felt more confident and continued to stand there and debate with those people. After a while, she saw Kyoshi rushing over. "Why don't you know the way again? Didn't I tell you to turn left, then right and then left again, and you will reach VIP area 6. How did you get to VIP area 4? Kyoshi hadn't finished her complaints when she saw the Kyo family's 3 members sitting not far away. Her first reaction was to quickly pull Tongying away, and her second reaction was to observe the situation of the Kyo family's 3 members. It's not that she was so afraid of the Kyo family's 3 members, but that she didn't want to have anything to do with these people anymore. When she thought of the stupid things she had done under Zhang Mian's brainwashing in the past, she wanted to dig a hole in the ground and bury herself. But before she could figure out what to do, she was discovered by Zhang Mian, who had been watching the fun. "Oh, isn't this my good Xiaoli?" Zhang Mian was already happy because someone said bad things about Kyoshi. Now she became even more delighted when she saw Kyoshi appear. "Xiaoli, why didn't you tell me that you were coming today? I can take you to watch the game in VIP area 3. It's closer to the duel arena and you can see more clearly." She also hoped that Kyoshi could help, so her attitude was naturally very earnest. Just as she finished her words, Kyo Mingming suddenly stood up and shouted in the direction of Kyoshi. "Kyoshi is a money-losing commodity that no one wants. She is a heartless, ungrateful bastard. What's so great about a level 6 psychic? It's all thanks to the resources given by the Z family." Upon hearing this, Kyoshi, who was still thinking about how to get out of this situation, couldn't help but angrily replied, "Kyo Mingming, what nonsense are you talking about? Sister Shishi is super invincible. You know nothing. You are a lazy and shameless waste. You will never be able to reach the level of Sister Shishi in your life." Today's second update has also been delivered. Thanks again to the little angels for their support. 030 chapter 1290 the final winner won. Kyo Mingming rarely gets scolded, so his eyes turned red after hearing what Kyoshi said. Tears as big as beans rolled down, and Zhang Mian felt a pang of pain in her heart. "What nonsense are you talking about, you dead girl?" Zhang Mian didn't care about the strange looks from others, and hurriedly hugged Kyo Mingming, who was crying. "My son is a unique genius." "What's useless?" "Kyoshi is the useless one. Only a little girl like you who knows nothing will learn her shameless independence and self-reliance. In my opinion, she should just find a good husband and marry him, and she can also help the family." But she insisted on going to that military academy and fighting outside. Compared with her own face, Zhang Mian loves her son more. Or in other words, Kyo Mingming, this son, is Zhang Mian's most important face. Zhang Mian's angry shouting made many women present show contempt, and some men shook their heads in disapproval. Even Han Zering, who wanted to torment Kyoshi, showed a trace of disgust in his eyes. Seeing this, Kyo Wanzhan, who always cherished his face, couldn't help but feel ashamed and angry. He quickly pulled the emotional Zhang Mian back to sit down. "Can you stop yelling like a shrew? Why bother with a junior?" As expected, you women are easily irritated and don't know how to control your emotions. "I'm a shrew?" I yelled back for Mingming. Listen to what Kyoshi said. She yelled our baby to tears. "Can I tolerate this?" Zhang Mian was unhappy when she heard this. If it wasn't because Kyo Mingming was yelled to tears, why would she make a scene in public? Those strangers who were watching the show laughed at her. As long as she could protect Kyo Mingming and win the argument, it would be fine. But how could Kyo Wanzhan, her only husband, join the spectators in disliking her? The more she thought about it, the angrier she became. She didn't notice Han Zering's gloomy face, nor did she see how Kyoshi played. She only knew that when she came to her senses, the whole audience burst into deafening applause. This Kyoshi is so amazing. Whether it's her accuracy when using a pistol or her close combat with another player, it can be said to be perfect. Yes. Did you see her sweeping kick just now? She directly knocked down Beimaro, who was trying to retreat, and then she turned around and grabbed Beimaro. It was so cool. Wow, I saw it. I just happened to take a picture. How can the young lady be so handsome? If anyone says she is of ours in the future, I will slap her. Wow, young lady, why don't I marry her? To be honest, the young lady named Beimayo is also very good. It's just a pity that she is a little worse than Kaioshishi. I hope she can work harder in the next game to get more points. I really don't want such a good young lady to be eliminated. It is not difficult to hear that everyone is excited about the game just now. Zhang Mian couldn't help but frowned in confusion. She really didn't understand what was so good about two little girls fighting and killing each other. Kyo Mingming on the side was also confused. Kaioshishi was clearly a useless money loser. Why were people praising her now? He had been spoiled by the Kyo family and his wife, and he had to listen to his parents scolding Kaioshishi at home every day. Therefore, even though he was now a 10-year-old child, he still didn't know what to say or what not to say. Brother, why are they praising Kaioshishi? He had forgotten Zhang Mian's previous instructions to pretend to have a good relationship with Kaioshishi in front of Han Zering. Kaioshishi is just a shameless, ungrateful person. Why do these people keep praising her? I'm 10,000 times better than Kaioshishi. Everyone should praise me. Hearing this, Han Zereng's already gloomy face became even worse. He originally wanted to find Kaioshishi through the Kyo family and his wife, and then let the Kyo family and his wife put pressure on Kaioshishi so that the marriage between the Kyo family and the Han family could continue. It was just that Han Yashing, who had been decided before, was replaced by him. Although he looked down on this overly strong girl, he now needed a helper who could assist him. Kaioshishi was not only good friends with the famous Gongzi Fake, but also had a close relationship with the brothers of the Z family, and her own abilities and talents were excellent. If he could arrange a marriage with Kaioshishi, she would be able to help his career. Even if he didn't like Kaioshishi, it didn't matter. Anyway, she still had several years before she reached the legal age for marriage. He could just use her and then change his fiancé. After all, she was a fiancé. She could get divorced, even if she was married, let alone if she wasn't married. But no matter how loud his calculations were, it would be useless if Kaioshishi didn't agree to the marriage. He really didn't expect that Kaioshishi had such a bad relationship with the Kyo family. He had heard from the two righteous girls that she had long since broken off relations with the Kyo family's 3 members and had not had any contact for a long time. In other words, even if he coaxed the Kyo family's 3 members, it would be useless. Now he was like a jumping clown. Big brother, why don't you say anything? Kyo Mingming didn't know what Han Zeren was thinking, so he just kept pulling the other's arm and shaking it. If you ignore me again, I won't take you to see Kaioshishi. I'm going to let Kaioshishi put you on the blacklist. Han Zeren was already very annoyed, and when he heard this, he swung his arm and threw Kyo Mingming to the ground. His leg was broken because of some old things, but his ability was still higher than Kyo Mingming. So after throwing the other party to the ground, he kicked him hard twice to vent his anger. Kyo Mingming, who was kicked for no reason, couldn't help crying loudly, attracting curious eyes from people around. The Kyo couple who were arguing also heard the crying. One of them rushed over to hug Kyo Mingming and coax him, while the other questioned Han Zeren with anger. It's just that the Kyo family can't compare with the Han family, and Kyo won and dared not fight back, even if he was angry. So after patting the dust on his hands, Han Zeren slowly walked out of VIP area 4 step by step. The Kyo family was left in VIP zone 4, but they were too embarrassed to stay here any longer, so they left from another exit. Oh my, why are they all gone? I thought they were going to fight on the spot. It's really boring. Stephanie took off her telescope after seeing the Kyo family had all left. Today's update has been delivered. Please check it out, little angels. 030. The author is a little unwell today, so I'll post one update first. ORZ. Chapter 1291 The Final Winner 2. Hearing this, Wen Jiu did not say anything more, but continued to tap on the light screen panel. She was sending a message to Muleo at this moment. The other party had received the chip she sent, and had also punished Muusi for doing this. Although Muleo said it lightly to her, judging from the message Mingayu sent her 2 days ago, Muusi still suffered a lot this time. Rumu Chunfeng, Zio Wen, you should be free during this period, right? Why don't you take advantage of this time to come to the Imperial Capital Star to play, and I, an old man, will take you to have a good look. Jiu Yeo-chan Wangguan. I'm sorry, Grandpa Mu, I have a lot of things to do recently. If I play before I finish dealing with them, I always feel uneasy in my heart. Rumu Chunfeng. It's okay, it's okay. An excellent child like you naturally has a lot of things to do. Then when you are free in the future, you must come to the Imperial Capital Star to find me. I, an old man, have eaten your desserts for so many years, but I have no chance to thank you properly. It's really a shame to say. Jiu is rich. No, Grandpa Mu, you really don't have to be so polite. But if I have time in the future, I will definitely come to the Imperial Capital Star to meet you. Wen Jiu has been sending desserts to Mr. Mu for such a long time, not to ask for his gratitude, but just to make herself feel at ease. After all, Mr. Mu sold her the villa at a discounted price before, and the star coins he kindly deducted were enough to buy 2 years of desserts. After she chatted with Mr. Mu for a few more words of family matters, she talked to Ming Yehan about the launch of new products. Wuiao food has developed rapidly in the past 2 years, and is now a well-known food brand known to everyone. Whether it is the earliest snowflake crisps and nougat, or the meat floss rice balls and cheese rice cakes released not long ago, they are all foods that the public loves and will repurchase crazily. Ming Zhang of Wuiao Food, I sent you the summary of the 3rd batch of feedback. The 4 flavors of Fortune Milk Tea have received unanimous praise, so I think the taste does not need to be adjusted. Now it's time to choose the packaging. I have several good design plans here. You can choose which one you like better. Jiu Yeo-chan Wangguan. I have also tried the Fortune Milk Tea. Except for the taro flavor, which needs to be lightened, I think the other 3 flavors are alright. As for the packaging, I have seen the plan you sent. I personally think the second one is better. The red and gold color is very consistent with the concept of fortune. Ming Zhang of Wuiao Food. Then let's do it according to what you said. I will ask someone to continue to make changes. By the way, there is one more thing I want to communicate with you. My brother has always been a straightforward person. I hope you don't care about him. After seeing this message, Wen Jiu couldn't help but smile. She was not laughing at Ming Yehan's concern for Ming Jiu, but laughing at Ming Jiu's self-righteousness that he had hidden everything well. But in fact, everything was discovered by Ming Yehan. It seems that Ming Yehan's methods are indeed more powerful than Ziziu's. If Ziziu wants to find out King Jiu's secret, she has to bribe her. Alas, being a brother is really not an easy thing. Jiu is rich, don't worry, I won't bother with him. Besides, he is quite interesting. If there is a chance in the future, I would like to make friends with him. Making friends is just a polite remark from Wen Jiu. After all, compared to becoming good friends with Ming Jiu, she wants to introduce Ming Jiu to King Jiu. The 2 bear brothers who are both stupid are very suitable to be good friends. But no matter how much she thinks, she won't say it directly. So after she and Ming Yehan had almost finished chatting, she turned off the light screen panel and continued to watch the game. The finals are indeed much more exciting than the preliminary and semi-finals. After all, the players who can make it to this point are not ordinary. After several exciting matches, it was finally the turn of King Jiu's group to play. This time, King Jiu faced the 3rd place of Mastona College, who was very good at weapon fighting, close combat and supernatural power duels. Therefore, from the moment King Jiu confirmed his opponent, he began to pray that he could draw a mecha battle. Of course, supernatural power duels are also good. He can crush the opponent. As long as it is not weapon fighting and close combat, he can have 200% confidence. Unfortunately, his luck has become low since some time. The moment he saw the words weapon fighting displayed on the big screen, he really felt like he was being played around by God. Xiao Bangla's luck is really bad. Zhu Wangming, who was sitting in the audience, was also very speechless about this. Has Xiao Bangli practiced weapon fighting well these days? Hearing this, Chu Jian, who was sitting next to him, sneered, if he draws a gun, it's not bad. If he draws a cold weapon, he can only lie down on the spot. After hearing this, Wen Jiu shook his head in disapproval. No, Xiao Bangli still practices cold weapon fighting. I also taught him how to use a sword and a knife, so he should have no problem. She had long felt that Zikingayu had a big problem in fighting, so whenever she had time, she would catch him and take him to the training room for training. After countless days and nights of training, Zikingayu's weapon fighting has long been perfect. Although the opponent still can't beat her, it is still no problem to beat others. As soon as she finished speaking, Stephanie said aggrievedly, oh, Xiao Jiu, you actually gave Xiao Bangli special treatment. No, I can't accept it. Unless you give me special treatment too. That can't be considered special treatment. She pinched her eyebrows speechlessly. I just want to help Xiao Bangli improve, and you and Ej are both learning more advanced knowledge in the military academy, so you don't need my help. Stephanie wanted to continue to play tricks, but when she saw the fatigue on Wen Jiu's face, she quietly stopped. She was not afraid of Wen Jiu getting angry, but she felt sorry for him being too tired these days. Really? Then I'll wait and see. Zhu Wangming was relieved after hearing Wen Jiu's words. It seems that I still have to visit you more often when I have time, otherwise I will be so busy that I don't know what you are doing. Hearing this, Chu Jian inexplicably had the illusion of being cared for by his old father and had to change the subject helplessly. If Xiaohua and Xiao Banli can both get high points and advance today, then will they have to come here tomorrow for a one-on-one match? Yes, I think they will definitely advance, so you really don't have to worry too much. Wen Jiu had just finished speaking when he saw Zikingayu and another contestant on stage. This means that the competition is about to begin. Today's first update has been successfully delivered. Please check it out. Little Angels 030. Chapter 1290 to the final winner 3. It has to be said that Zikingayu's luck is really bad. The weapon randomly assigned by the system is actually an ordinary sword. Unlike the military knife that Minahan drew, this sword is just an ordinary sword. How ordinary is it? Compared with the other weapons listed, this sword seems to be stuffed in to make up the number. Point I surrender. He from Mastona College is now very speechless. Is this system targeting me? Compared with various cold weapons, he is actually better at gun combat. Therefore, the moment he saw the image of the sword, he wanted to punch the floating light curtain with his fist. But no matter how much he thought about it, he couldn't do such a thing. He sighed deeply and raised his head, wanting to see what his opponent's reaction was. Maybe he was as speechless as him and wanted to hammer the ground. But the moment he saw the opponent, he was stunned. Wait, what does that bright smile on that person's face mean? Little Chestnut's smile is so silly. How come he still can't learn to hide his emotions? Zhu Wangming, who was sitting in the audience, also saw Zikingayu's smiling face. While he thought it was cute, he began to worry about her. This child always writes his thoughts on his face, and anyone who sees it can know what he is thinking. There is no way he is just like this. Wen Jiu was also very helpless about this, but he is much better than before. You don't always hit his confidence. Hearing this, Chu Jian, who was peeling oranges, couldn't help but chuckle. It's true that little chestnut can't hide his emotions, but this is not a bad thing. Look at his opponent. He is now standing still. When the other three heard this, they all looked at the light curtain. Zikingayu's opponent had a dull face, as if he was frightened by Zikingayu. Zhu Wangming felt both amused and speechless about this. It seems that the characteristics of the little chestnut can still be used. Okay, I won't worry so much. Come on, brother Harry, peel 2 oranges for me to eat. Uncle, how come your hand broke so easily? Chu Jian didn't even look at Zhu Wangming and directly gave the peeled oranges to Wen Jiu. Seeing this, Zhu Wangming had to take 2 oranges and peel them slowly. Stephanie on the side was not idle either. When she saw Chu Jian peeling oranges for Wen Jiu, she quickly took a few oranges and started peeling them. As soon as she peeled them, she stuffed them directly into Wen Jiu's hands. Wen Jiu, who was a little hungry after watching the game, almost ate enough oranges. This game is about to start. Please pick up your weapons and get ready within 1 minute. The cold prompt sound of the system suddenly sounded, and the 4 people who were originally chatting and eating oranges were now concentrating on looking at the floating light screen. I saw Zikingai quickly turned around and took the weapon. It was an ordinary long sword, and few people could use it on weekdays. But it was such a long sword that made Zikingai happy until now. Countdown 10, 9, 8, 3, 2, 1. The game officially begins. When the prompt sound disappeared, Zikingai rushed to the other side of the duel stage with the sword in hand, without carefully finding a suitable position, to wait for the opportunity as before. Seeing this, Hiyu couldn't help but feel a little panic in his heart. First, he was not good at using a long sword, and second, he really didn't understand Zikingai. This elusive situation made him feel very tricky, so he could only take a step to defend first to avoid being approached by Zikingai who was running towards him. But before he took a few more steps outside, he saw the other party flying in front of him, and then he made a beautiful sword flower, knocking his long sword away in the blink of an eye. The pain and the feeling of failure came at the same time, and he didn't even have time to react. This sword flower looks familiar, the movements are fast and beautiful. It seems that Zhao Bangli has indeed learned some real skills. Chu Jian had fought with Wen Jiu with swords in his spare time before, so he naturally knew that the opponent's sword flower movements were neat and clean, and it was difficult for ordinary people to practice to this level. Hearing this, Wen Jiu's mouth corners couldn't help but rise a little. It seems that her previous training with Zikingai was effective, and the opponent could at least take advantage of this situation. Fun is fun, but the game still needs to be watched. Hiyu, who was fighting with Zikingai, did not admit defeat. Instead, he sobered up after the long sword fell to the ground. Damn it, I can't admit defeat. After spitting, Hiyu raised his hand and clenched his fist to attack Zikingai. Zikingai would not suffer a loss a second time after suffering a loss once, and he remained vigilant until he heard Hiyu say that he admitted defeat. As expected, the opponent wanted to continue fighting him. Do you want to admit it or not? He pretended to be cold and swung his sword, forcing the attacking Hiyu to retreat again and again. Seeing this, he hurriedly took advantage of the victory and swung a sword flower, sending out an imperceptible sword energy. The sword energy he sent out naturally could not be compared with the sword energy sent out by Wen Jiu, so the sword energy only barely scratched Hiyu's protective suit. However, such an effect was enough to make Hiyu alert. What is your trick? Hiyu looked at the two holes in the protective suit on his arm, and the alarm bells in his heart kept ringing. Hearing this, Zikingai did not answer the question, but turned around neatly and swung another sword energy. This time he was much more skilled than before, and directly hit Hiyu's waist with the sword energy. It's a pity that his fire is still not enough, and he can't directly cause any damage to the opponent. Damn it. Hiyu was once again shocked by this strange attack. I want to report. This contestant named Zikingai cheated. Seeing this, Zikingai, who was thinking about how to persuade Hiyu to admit defeat, suddenly became angry. So he rushed over with a flying step, and at the same time, raised his right hand, and chopped it hard from top to bottom, directly breaking the protective suit on Hiyu's right shoulder. The next second, bright red blood beads rolled down non-stop, and the dazed Hiyu came back to his senses, and began to shout that he wanted to admit defeat. Because Hiyu had already shouted the words of admitting defeat, the system directly announced that Zikingai won. Now that there was a result, the medical staff guarding the stage hurried into the protective shield, and went on stage to treat Hiyu. I want to report Zikingai for cheating. This game cannot count. He gradually woke up at this moment, and he felt that his appearance just now was particularly embarrassing. So in order to get this place back, he must send the cheating Zikingai away. However, just as he finished speaking, Zikingai raised her head and said, I don't bother to use cheap tricks like cheating. What you just saw is a move that only masters like me can use. It's normal that you don't understand it. Today's second update has also been successfully delivered. Please check it out. Little Angels 030. Chapter 1293 The Final Winner 4. Hearing this, Hiyu first lay on the stage for a moment, and then continued to report to the staff, insisting that Zikingai had cheated in some way. Although Zikingai had explained that he did not cheat, due to Hiyu's relentless shouting of reporting, the staff still checked the two according to the regulations. Player Hiyu, we have checked player Zikingai. He did not use any cheating methods during the competition, so the result of this competition still counts. He felt very uncomfortable after hearing this. He would never believe that Zikingayu did not cheat. Otherwise, how could the other party use that broken sword to attack like a supernatural power? In fact, many people have this question. Why can Zikingayu use that ordinary sword to break through? He used protective suit in the air. Even the staff responsible for the inspection couldn't help but murmur in their hearts. It's just that the official used various methods to test, but found no evidence that Zikingayu cheated. Therefore, the staff still announced that the result of the game counted. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. He shouted in disbelief. He must have cheated. Have you staff members been bribed by him? Zikingayu originally didn't want to pay attention to Hiyu's slander. He just wanted to go back to the lounge to chat with Kaioshishi. But Hiyu kept making a fuss here, which would not only affect his personal reputation, but also affect the competition of other players. He had to patiently explain to Hiyu, I have practiced the sword to perfection, so I can use sword energy when using the sword. This is ultimately my trick, not what you think is cheating. Even though he explained it in a good tone, Hiyu still looked unyielding, thinking that he was lying to cover up. In this case, he was too lazy to say anything more. He was not a good-tempered person. It was because he had been hanging around with Wen Jiu and others for a long time that his former young master's temper was gradually reduced. But this does not mean that his temper has really improved. He still has a bit of arrogance in him. Believe it or not, I'm the sword god, okay? He said with a hint of coldness in his eyes. If you lose, you lose. If you are not as skilled as others, you are not as skilled as others. Stop making so many excuses for yourself. After saying that, he strode off the stage and headed towards the lounge. Seeing this, the audience below the stage started to discuss. Did this contestant really cheat? I heard that he is the young master of the Z family, and the Z family is the sponsor of this competition. It would be easy for them to help their child cheat. Don't be a conspiracy theorist. The Z family has always been honest and would never do such a dirty thing. Besides, can you forge an identity of a 6th level psychic to help your child cheat? You don't even use your brain to think about it. Zikingayu is already a 6th level psychic. How bad can he be in other aspects? It's hard to say. Didn't you see how arrogant he was on the stage just now? And he did use some strange moves during the competition. After all, I graduated from the preparatory military academy, so I can still talk about these cold weapons. It is absolutely impossible for him to emit sword energy. Uncle, you're good enough. Just because you can't do it doesn't mean others can't do it either. Even if you graduated from a preparatory military academy, so what? You couldn't even go to military school. How can you be compared with Zikingayu? That's right. Don't be jealous of rich people, okay? The Z family would only help Zikingayu cheat in such a competition, unless they want to fall. Some people don't even use their brains before they speak. No matter how heated the discussion among the audience was, it would not reach Zikingayu's ears. He first went to the medical room to find a staff member for a simple checkup, and then returned to the exclusive lounge for the players. Because Kaioshishi accompanied Minaha into the bathroom, he could only drink the nutrient solution while in a daze. Just as he was daydreaming, he suddenly heard a familiar voice. I didn't expect you to have such a skill. Mengzin still looked sickly, with a faint smile on his pale lips. Who taught you this trick? Hearing this, Zikingayu was silent for a moment before answering. My good friend and good teacher taught me. Anyway, not everyone can learn this trick, so he felt that it didn't matter if he told Mengzin. Besides, he has several good friends, and who knows who he learned it from. After the voice fell, Mengzin looked at him for about a minute before speaking. Well, you are indeed a very honest and worthy friend to make friends with, but it's a pity that you and I have different ideas in some aspects, which means that we can only become opponents who appreciate each other. Although these words were a bit harsh, they were indeed the truth. Zikingayu was not in a very good mood at the moment, so he didn't pay much attention to Mengzin's words, and just hung his head like a drowned puppy. Seeing this, Mengzin didn't say anything to comfort him, but just got up and left the soft sofa. The 12th group of players finished the game very quickly, so a new round of draws and duels had to start. Both Zikingayu and Kaioshishi had good luck, and they didn't draw their own people in the next game. It was just that after 5 rounds of competition, the two of them still couldn't play against each other, which was more or less a pity. Although they had played against each other privately for countless times, they were still looking forward to meeting each other in the game. Today's points game has ended, and the next step is what everyone is looking forward to, the score announcement. After the last round of the game, the host returned to the stage with a smile and began to use words to heat up the atmosphere. After all, the audience had watched the game for a whole day, and they were more or less tired. I introduced it to you before the game started. There are a total of 24 players participating in the competition today. The last 4 players in the points ranking will be directly eliminated. So, what I'm going to announce next is, the female host standing on the stage now is very good at heating up the atmosphere, and her deliberately long tail tone made many viewers anxious. Seeing this, the female host smiled and continued, "It's the top 3 of this points race. Hahaha, I know everyone is curious about which players will be eliminated, but I think it's better to announce the qualifiers first. So the list of eliminated players will be put at the back." As soon as the host finished speaking, the audience began to urge impatiently. Seeing such a warm response from everyone, the host said that she was very satisfied and quickly read out the names of the top 3. Today's first update has been successfully delivered. Thank you little angels for your support and love 030. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1294, the final winner 5. The top 3 in today's points competition are Kaioshishi and Zikingayu from 3047 College, and Mengzin from Hangs College. These 3 players have successfully obtained 5 points. So they occupy the first, second, and third positions respectively. Zioing, let me explain to everyone here. If there are players with the same points, then our judging panel will make the ranking. The judging panel of this competition is composed of professional teachers from 10 preparatory military academies. They will give the most fair and reasonable evaluation, based on the performance of the player in the competition and the difficulty of the competition, etc. After the host gave a brief explanation, he continued to read the list of qualified players. Wen Jiu and others listened quietly in the audience, and they had no other reaction. Because they had carefully watched all the games of Zikingayu and Kaioshishi before, they knew that the two would definitely advance to the second day of the competition, so they were not as worried about their favorite players as other audiences. The next moment is the most curious and worrying. Let's guess who will be the 10th player to advance. The host deliberately dragged out the tail tone at this moment, like a hook to hook the audience, and everyone was eagerly waiting for the next words. Not only that, the audience in the live broadcast room also swiped the barrage, hoping that the host could quickly announce who the 10th place was. After estimating that the atmosphere was in place, the host smiled and continued to speak, before announcing who the 10th player is. Why don't you listen to who the last 3 players are? As soon as the voice fell, the audience's reaction became more enthusiastic. Seeing this, Wen Jiu greeted Chujian and others, and motioned them to follow him out of the staff passage. The main reason is that they don't like too noisy places. If it weren't for cheering for Zikingayu and Kaioshishi, they would probably just stay at home to watch the live broadcast of the game, and would not come to the game site to join in the fun. Anyway, it has been confirmed that Kaioshishi and Zikingayu have advanced, so there is no need for them to stay any longer. As for the other contestants, who advanced and who was eliminated, they didn't care much. Is there going to be a one-on-one match tomorrow? Zhu Wangming was a little hungry at this moment, so he took a hazelnut cheese stick from the wisdom ring space. This was his favorite cheese stick flavor. Seeing this, Wen Jiu stretched out his hand directly. Yes, so Xiaohua and Xiaobandi might face off tomorrow. Hey, do you have raspberry flavored cheese sticks? Give me one. The cheese stick that Zhu Wangming ate was also produced by Wuiyao Food. This cheese stick was loved by the public as soon as it was launched on the market, so it has been out of stock and difficult to buy all year round. It's not that Wuiao Food deliberately engaged in hunger marketing, but the supply of raw materials on the desolate star can't keep up. For example, hazelnuts and raspberries were exchanged by the Jade Rabbit clan from other demon tribes. Therefore, it is impossible to provide too many products for manufacturing. Although the Jade Rabbit clan intends to attract other demon tribes to join, there are still many demon tribes who are very wary of humans and are unwilling to have too much contact with humans. How do you know I bought raspberry flavor? Zhu Wangming reluctantly handed Wen Jiu a raspberry cheese stick. I hope Xia Hua and Xia Banli don't play against each other tomorrow. After all, tomorrow's competition system is a one-on-one elimination match. I will feel bad if either of them loses. Maybe because he has been hanging out with these kids for a long time. Zhu Wangming's previous hard-heartedness has long disappeared without a trace. Of course, this is only limited to Rumen and Wen Jiu. If it is two outsiders, he is still indifferent and indifferent. Yes, if the two of them play against each other tomorrow, it will be bad. Wen Jiu couldn't help but worry when she thought of this, but she quickly regained her usual calmness. It's okay, let's not think too much about it, so as not to add unnecessary trouble to them. I think it's about time. Let's go to the door of the lounge and wait for them to come out. She looked at the time and felt that it was about time, so she took Zhu Wangming and others to the door of the lounge. Sure enough, they saw Kaioshishi and Zikingayu coming out as soon as they arrived. So the six of them left the stadium together, met up with Uruman who had finished work, and took a hovercraft back home to rest. Kaioshishi originally wanted to take Minahern home to have dinner and chat, but she changed her mind and thought it would be better to wait until all the games were over before bringing her back, so she just mentioned this matter to Wen Jiu as a way of informing him. Wen Jiu had no opinion on this matter and only asked Kaioshishi to remember to inform everyone before bringing Minahern back. After all, they have all kinds of strange things in their home, so it is best to prepare in advance before welcoming guests. After everyone went back, they felt particularly tired today, so they went back to their rooms to rest after dinner. The next morning, Kaioshishi and Zikingayu had to participate in the media interview as excellent players, so they ate a few bites of breakfast and left first in the hovercraft sent by the official. Wen Jiu and others ate breakfast slowly, packed up, and then went to the stadium to watch the game. Today's one-on-one elimination match will be held, and the 10 winning players will be qualified to advance to the military academy in advance. Therefore, it can be said that today's elimination match is the real final. After all, the ranking match to be held tomorrow will not eliminate anyone, but the ranking will be lower if the game is lost, and the qualification for early promotion to the military academy is stable. Therefore, more people came to watch the game today than yesterday, and the popularity of the official live broadcast room is much higher than before. Wen Jiu and others are still sitting in the VIP area arranged by Zizu, but they did not run into anyone they knew this time, so they can watch the game peacefully for a day. After the audience took their seats, the host first gave an opening speech, and then began the lottery ceremony that everyone was worried about. Kaioshishi of 3047 College vs. Tang Xiaoxio of Shenkei College, Zikingayu of 3047 College vs. Nakamura Xiangming of Wanli Book College. Seeing the lottery results displayed on the floating light screen, Wen Jiu and others couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Although they had already prepared for the possibility of a collision between the two children, they still hoped that both Zikingayu and Kaioshishi would be qualified for promotion. For this reason, Wen Jiu even made a special fortune telling for Zikingayu and Kaioshishi last night. You know, she hasn't made a fortune telling for a long time, so this fortune telling can be said to be a rare sight. The result given by the hexagram is good, but everyone is still worried. Facts have proved that she has never made mistakes in fortune telling. Today's second update has also been successfully delivered. Please check it out. Little Angels 030 Chapter 1295 The final winner 6. The one-on-one match went even better than the previous points match. Both Zikingayu and Kaioshishi successfully defeated their opponents and won the top 10 positions. This means that both of them have obtained the qualification for early promotion to the military academy. This news made Wen Jiu and others very happy. They plan to arrange a celebration banquet for Kyoshi and Zikingayu tonight or tomorrow night. Great. Now you can go to Ria Military Academy together. Zhu Wangming was so happy that he couldn't close his mouth at this moment. It's very good. It's not in vain for their training these days. Hearing this, Yu Ruman, who rarely came to watch the game together, also smiled and said, yes, you can go to Ria Military Academy together next. But first Xiaohua and Xia Banli must pass the entrance examination. Although Kyoshi and Zikingayu have entered the top 10 and have confirmed the quota for early promotion to the military academy, they still have to take the entrance examination of the military academy. If they fail the entrance examination, they will either change to another military academy for examination or accept the assignment of the federal headquarters. Therefore, we should not relax too much now, and we should still train as usual. Several people stood outside the lounge, chatting and laughing, waiting for Kyoshi and Zikingayu to come out. The official award ceremony will not be held until the ranking of the 10 contestants is decided tomorrow, so the contestants who enter the top 10 only need to accept media interviews before they can leave. Fortunately, those media didn't ask me any particularly tricky questions. Minahern, who also defeated her opponent and entered the top 10, said nervously, the words taught by Teacher Lee are really useful. It's better to ask questions than to answer them. Shishi, if you encounter questions that you don't know how to answer later, think of a way to ask them back. Hearing this, Kyoshi, who had just drunk a bottle of nutrient solution, smiled and replied, thank you for reminding me, Mina. Don't worry, I will deal with them well. As soon as she finished speaking, a staff member came in and told her that it was time to go out for an interview. So she threw the empty bottle in her hand into the recycling bin, and after tidying up her clothes a little, she followed the staff to the interview room. There were more than 20 media workers in the large interview room. Some of them were carefully debugging the small filming robots they brought with them. Some were using the light screen panel to record the answers received from the contestants, and some were whispering about the situation of this college competition. Hello, media friends. This is contestant Kyoshi from College 3047. You can ask any questions you have. Kyoshi will try her best to answer them. After the staff spoke, Kyoshi walked to the front table and sat down, smiling and waiting for the media's questions. Kyoshi successfully made a name for herself in the competition with her outstanding appearance and extraordinary strength. Therefore, the questions raised by the media were more than before. May I ask what kind of training does contestant Kyoshi do on a daily basis? You have become a level 6 fire type superpower at this age, and I think it is not just because of your talent. Kyoshi smiled slightly after hearing this question. I usually do a lot of training, such as superpower training, double person combat, and mecha driving. As for the fact that I became a level 6 fire type superpower, it is indeed not only because of my talent, but also because of the time and sweat I put in. She paused for a moment when she said this, and after confirming that the media were taking notes seriously, she continued, after all, there are always only a few people with outstanding talents in this world, so I believe that success can be achieved with enough effort. After the voice fell, most of the media were taking notes, and only a few frowned. Kyoshi just glanced at these media calmly, and then wrote down those who showed disapproval. She did not mean to retaliate because others disagreed, but she always felt that a storm was coming, so she wanted to be careful in everything. After about 3 or 4 minutes, another media worker raised his hand to ask a question, and she smiled and answered the question again. Okay, the interview with contestant Kyoshi is about to end. Thank you for your hard work, all the media workers. The staff member at the side estimated that the time was almost up, so he reminded the media workers present. But just as he finished speaking, a media worker raised his hand. Because there were still a few minutes before the end of the interview, he nodded to indicate that the other party could ask questions. Hello, contestant Kyoshi, I have a question for you. The media worker looked at Kyoshi with a smile. There are rumors outside that you bully your brother and betray your parents, and you are a very unfilial child. I personally don't mean to offend you. I just want to ask you to respond to whether this rumor is true. After the voice fell, the media workers who were still whispering to each other suddenly became quiet. Some clicked on the light screen panel to record this explosive news, and some quickly controlled the robot to capture the picture at close range. In short, everyone was looking forward to Kyoshishi's reaction, so as to take this opportunity to create a big gossip news. However, Kyoshishi kept smiling as before, even the curve of her lips didn't change at all. First of all, I want to say that this rumor is false, and it is extremely false. She stared at the media worker who asked the question with a pair of dark and clear deer eyes. Secondly, I don't want to explain too much about my family matters. It's not that I feel guilty, but I feel that there is nothing necessary to say. I'm participating in the college competition, not a family competition. So the audience should focus on my strength, not my family relationship or my friends, etc. She had just said half of her words when she was interrupted by the person who asked the question. Contestant Kyoshishi, your answer makes it hard for me not to think that the rumors outside are true. Otherwise, why don't you give a direct answer, but talk about the so-called audience focus? Speaking of which, I have another piece of gossip here. Contestant Kyoshishi and contestant Hanyashin are suspected of having decided to get married before the competition. Therefore, contestant Hanyashin deliberately lost to contestant Kyoshishi in the preliminary round. Contestant Kyoshishi, is it shameful to cheat in this way? After this person finished speaking, the other media workers showed surprised expressions, because they have never heard of such explosive gossip before. Today's update has been delivered. Please check it out. Little Angels. Chapter 1296, The Final Winner 7. Is it true? If they really used such means to cheat, it would be too shameful. Yes, no matter how many precautions are taken, they can't prevent such means. I said that Kyoshishi looked delicate and delicate. How could she possibly endure the pain of daily training? Sure enough, she won by means of concealment. Well, I think this rumor is particularly outrageous. Why do you believe it? Kyoshishi not only competed with Hanyashin, but she also had so many opponents behind her. Could it be that every one of them was engaged to her? I also think this rumor is outrageous. It seems that seeing that Kyoshishi is so outstanding, they deliberately made up rumors to throw dirty water. Besides, she is only 16 or 17 years old now. Who would get engaged at such a young age? This is not the feudal society of the past. The staff on the side heard the words of the media worker and began to discuss in a low voice. However, most of the staff had a good impression of Kyoshishi, so they all thought that the words of the media worker were not credible. Only a few staff members looked at Kyoshishi with disdain after hearing those words. Kyoshishi, as the person involved, did not change her expression. However, there was a hint of coldness in her smiling eyes. Excuse me, sir, as a contestant, am I participating in the competition with my strength or my family? Also, your so-called engagement between Hanyashin and me is completely fabricated. Hanyashin and I did not know each other before, so how can we say that we have already been engaged? If I won by being engaged, then may I ask this, sir, have all the contestants I met been engaged to me? Kyoshishi, as far as I know, bigamy is illegal. Is it possible that in your world, having multiple spouses is legal? She asked 3 questions in a row, and the media worker who asked the question turned pale. Seeing this, her smile grew instead of diminishing, because she just wanted to see what other rumors the other party could tell, and she had already guessed why this person came out, to make things difficult for her. So she did not feel worried or afraid, but instead became more calm and composed. As a contestant, you must not only be strong, but also have good character. The media worker who asked the question was silent for a while before speaking. And you, contestant Kyoshishi, have been avoiding mentioning the topic of family. Can I assume that your relationship with your family is really bad? Hearing this, she smiled and replied as before, it's hard to say whether my character is good or not, but sir, your character should not be very good. Otherwise, why do you keep throwing dirty water on me and fabricating some unfounded things to slander me? In fact, there is nothing wrong with talking about my family, but I think this interview is mainly about the competition situation, not my personal private life, so I don't want to answer. If you are curious about this, you can come to me to discuss it after I win the first place. She didn't think there was anything to avoid about her relationship with the Kao family. Anyway, these media workers have some connections, and they will know the truth sooner or later, as long as they are willing to spend some time to inquire. A girl who was unwilling to accept her fate chose to run away from home and cut off ties with her parents who favored boys over girls and her stupid brother. It's not hard to find out about such things. Ahem. Actually, I think what Kao Shishi said makes sense. Before the media worker who asked the question could refute, a staff member with short hair came over. Our interview today is mainly about the contestants' performance in the competition, not the private lives of the contestants. If this gentleman is really so curious about Kao Shishi's private life, then you can wait until Kao Shishi wins the championship tomorrow to interview her. After all, interviews about private life are all individual interviews. There's no need to talk about this in a group interview like ours. With the staff member coming out to smooth things over, the media who wanted to deliberately make things difficult for Kao Shishi naturally couldn't say anything more. Seeing this, other media workers also echoed a few words, wanting to use this to show their own positions. After all, Kao Shishi is a popular contestant in this college competition, and now many viewers think she is very likely to win the championship. So these media workers who make a living by interviewing and writing news will naturally be more inclined to Kao Shishi at this time. Maybe they can gain some favor and get an exclusive interview opportunity in the future. Okay, the interview time for contestant Kao Shishi is over today. Everyone can take a break and wait for the next contestant to come on stage. The staff came out one by one to help and successfully took Kao Shishi out of the special interview room. In response, Kao Shishi first expressed her gratitude very sincerely and then returned to the contestant's special lounge. After she went in, she wanted to talk to Zikingayu, but she looked around and couldn't find her. So she had to get some fruit desserts, thinking of eating while waiting for Zikingayu to come back. But she had just sat down for a while and saw a familiar person walking over, and the other person sat directly next to her. Kao Shishi, the man first whispered her name and then forced out a friendly smile. You are an opponent worthy of my admiration. Hearing this, although she didn't understand what the man in front of her wanted to do, she still smiled and responded politely. Thank you. If I remember correctly, you should be Mengzin from Hong's Academy, right? After that, the thin man in front of her nodded. Yes, it's a pity that we didn't play against each other in the previous game, so I'm looking forward to playing a ring match with you tomorrow. She remembered that Zikingayu and Wen Jiu had said before that this player named Mengzin was very strong and very good at driving mechas to fight. I'm also looking forward to fighting with you tomorrow, she said, and then moved to the side calmly. I remember that you are very good at mecha battles. I hope we can have a good fight. After the voice fell, Mengzin raised the corner of his mouth. The other party did not follow her words, but said inexplicably, Han Yashin is not worthy of you. He is a waste supported by various resources. Hearing this, a trace of doubt appeared in her ink black eyes, but she quickly reacted. Han Yashin and I have nothing to do with each other. If you must say, we are just opponents who have fought each other. As soon as she finished speaking, Mengzin burst out laughing. Today's update has also been successfully delivered. Please check it out. Little Angels. 030. Chapter 1297 The Final Winner 8. Kao Shishi wanted to ask Mengzin what she was laughing at, but before she could ask, she heard Zikingayu's slightly anxious voice. Shishi, come here. Hearing this, she first glanced at Zikingayu, then said goodbye to Mengzin, and got up to leave. She didn't want to stay with Mengzin any longer, so naturally she wouldn't stay here any longer. Seeing the girl in front of him leave without looking back, Mengzin didn't feel unhappy. He just glanced at Zikingayu meaningfully, and then raised the corners of his pale lips slightly. It seems that these two people are more interesting than he expected. Shishi, why are you with him? Did he cause you any trouble? Zikingayu just went to the VIP room, so she didn't show up in the lounge. He estimated that Kao Shishi's interview was about to end, so he returned to the contestants' lounge from the VIP room. But as soon as he entered the door, he saw Kao Shishi and Mengzin sitting together chatting, which made him both surprised and worried. He came here by himself. Don't worry, no one can cause trouble to me. Kyoshi first comforted Zikingayu, and then looked at the other party with a smile. What are you doing? Are you worried about me? Hearing this, Zikingayu couldn't help but widen his eyes, and his ears were also stained with a hint of red. Just now. No. I'm just very curious why you are sitting with him. He is not your friend. Kyoshi couldn't help but chuckle when she saw Zikingayu's appearance. Didn't I tell you? He came here by himself. Okay. Where were you just now? I couldn't find you when I came back. Zikingayu was slightly relaxed after hearing what Kyoshi said, and then explained why he was not in the lounge just now. When Kyoshi went out for an interview, a staff member came to find him specifically, saying that his brother was waiting for him in the VIP room, and hoped that he would go there as soon as possible. Therefore, he went to the VIP room and talked about the game with Zizio. In fact, it's not just about the game. He also asked me if I want to go home and spend time with my parents after the game tomorrow. Anyway, he and Kyoshi are super good friends, so there's no need to hide these things from each other. Hearing this, Kyoshi couldn't help but ask curiously, then do you want to go home and spend time with your parents? But Jiu said yesterday that he would hold a celebration party for us tomorrow. If you go home, what about Jiu's intentions? I'm just thinking about this problem. Zikingayu has relaxed at this moment, and the blush on her face has completely faded. Do you think Jiu will mind if I bring my parents home? He felt that, since both sides were going to hold celebration parties, it would be better to hold them together, so that both sides would not be delayed, and it would be very lively. But he couldn't figure out Wen Jiu's thoughts, and was worried that the other party would not be happy to do so. Kyoshi rolled her eyes when she heard this. Don't you know what kind of person Jiu is? She won't mind. Based on her understanding of Wen Jiu, the other party will definitely not mind this matter and may even be happy about it. That's true. Zikingayu thought about it and rubbed his head, messing up his soft brown hair. I think too much. He felt that he was too nervous during this period, so he was thinking about all those random things. So he simply changed the topic, thinking that this would adjust his thoughts. The two chatted, and it was time for all the players to finish the interview. Everyone could finally leave the lounge and go home. When Jiu and others had been staying outside the player lounge, when they saw Kyoshi and Zikingayu, they went up to them. You two are great. You have worked hard during this period. When the competition is completely over tomorrow, you can have a good rest. Zhu Wangming was the first to step forward to express his congratulations. He has watched the two children train day and night over the years, and naturally knew how much effort and sweat they have put in. Hearing this, Zikingayu and Kyoshi both smiled and thanked him. Okay, we are all family, so don't be so polite. When Jiu was not a person who was good at expressing emotions, so he just encouraged Kyoshi and Zikingayu, go home and have a good rest first. You still have a game to play tomorrow. You can't relax too much at this time. Although the quota for early promotion to the military academy has been obtained, Kyoshi and Zikingayu have not yet obtained the admission qualifications. Therefore, the two still have to insist on training in the future. After returning home, the group quickly ate and went back to the room to rest. After all, they would rush to the stadium to participate in or watch the game early tomorrow morning. However, when they fell asleep, the local forum was extremely lively. An unknown passerby, is there anyone who wants to discuss late at night? Pure white dream whether the person who opened the thread should give a topic to discuss, otherwise what are we discussing? We can't discuss what we ate tonight, right? An unknown passerby, there is a topic, but I don't dare to say it too bluntly. I have a friend who works in the media industry. Today, he went to interview the contestants of the college competition, and heard a lot of gossip on the spot. Mouse, I'm so embarrassed. What gossip? Let me hear it. What gossip? Let me hear it. An unknown passerby, it's just that a very popular female contestant broke into the finals by using the back door. I heard that her family used the trick of cheating on marriage to make those contestants admit defeat. TSK, it's really hard to imagine. Congratulations on my fortune. The poster is not talking about a female contestant with a 3-character name, right? As far as I know, she did rely on her strength to reach the finals and enter the top 10. Can you not maliciously speculate and spread rumors when you see a beautiful girl? Do you know that spreading rumors is against the law? Give me a kiss. I didn't guess who the poster was talking about, but I knew it when I saw the one above. To be honest, although this contestant wins every game easily, it is because she is so capable that others can't beat her. Pure white dream with her. Indeed, if they have the strength, why don't they crush us instead of trying so hard to beat us? If the poster wants to spread rumors, can you please provide some solid evidence? Don't just make up a few random sentences and try to instigate us. An unknown passerby picture. I didn't want to release the evidence, but you guys forced me to do it. Did you see it? The first 2 pictures are pictures of her private contact with the young master of the Z family, and the 3rd and 4th pictures are pictures of her family and a certain contestant's family having dinner together. Be careful of the werewolf. I really didn't expect this contestant to be so sticky, and he even stuck to the young master of the Z family. Now I believe the information revealed by the poster. Shush you, I'm about to be washed, although just a few photos can't prove anything, right? All the students of 3047 Academy know that the young master of the Z family has a good relationship with this contestant. The two have been friends since the first semester. Can you please stop spreading rumors? Please call me Woof. The person above can't be Kyo herself. Why is the poster so anxious to explain? Does the poster have more evidence? I thought Kyo had a big problem before, but I didn't expect that she really relied on the back door. Sky and fish. What back door? Can you please stop thinking bad things when you see a beautiful woman? This student of 3047 Academy clarified on her behalf with her real name. Kyo's grades in the academy have always been very good. She won the first place in the internal competition. It is absolutely impossible for her to cheat. I'm really convinced by a group of fools who spread rumors. The first update of today has been successfully delivered. Please check it out. Little Angels. 030 Chapter 1298 The Final Winner 9. There are more and more posts about Kyo Shishi on local forums, but most netizens are helping her explain and clarify, so this news has not yet reached her ears. She packed up early in the morning and went out with Zikingayu, riding the official hovercraft to the stadium. After arriving, as before, she had to do a pre-match physical examination first. Because there were only 10 players left today, the pre-match examination was done quite quickly. After Kyo Shishi and Zikingayu finished the examination, they went to the lounge together to sit and wait. It was just that when Zikingayu brought fruits and desserts to Kyo Shishi, several staff members seemed to cast casual glances at her. Although they tried their best to cover it up, Kyo Shishi still noticed it. The dessert delivered today is actually peach blossom pastry. I brought you a few pieces to fill your stomach. Zikingayu didn't find anything wrong, so she smiled as before and put the plate of desserts and fruits she had chosen on the table. By the way, I also brought some ice fruit that you like to eat. This one looks pretty good, and the taste shouldn't be too bad. Hearing this, Kyo Shishi simply smiled, as if nothing had happened, then picked up a piece of ice fruit and slowly peeled it. Ice fruit is a fruit that can only be eaten in midsummer. The skin is very soft, so you have to be careful when peeling it, otherwise the juice inside will drip all over the floor. While she was peeling the fruit slowly, she was thinking about whether something happened that she didn't know about. It's not her fault that she thinks too much. After all, something like that happened yesterday, and it's hard for her not to suspect that the Kyo family is behind it again. She was thinking about whether she should go to the Kyo family to investigate after the game, and the ice fruit in her hand that she hadn't peeled yet was taken away by Zikingayu. Look at you. You've been peeling it for a long time, but still can't peel it properly, so I have to do it for you. The other party peeled the outer skin of the ice fruit in a few seconds. Here, eat it quickly. It's time to draw numbers in half an hour. Seeing this, she naturally took the ice fruit peeled by Zikingayu and then ate it in small bites. But she had only eaten a few bites when she saw Minahan running over angrily. Shishi. There are many posts on the local forum that discredit you. I speak for you, but some people actually say that I'm a water army you hired. I'm so angry. When she heard this, she understood that the people from the Kao family were making trouble again. But before she had time to ask in detail, she saw Zikingai, who said angrily, "What? There are so many posts that slander Shishi. Mina, send me the posts quickly, and I will find out who is behind it." Okay, I'll send it to you right away, Minahan said, while operating the light screen panel. "I fought with those people on the local forum all night last night. It really pissed me off. There are really idiots who believe those rumors." In fact, she just wanted to browse the posts and go to bed last night, but she didn't know that 9 out of 10 posts were discussing Kao Shishi. Although she and Kao Shishi are not very close, she still can't bear to see that she is inexplicably slandered and rumored, so she argued with those who threw dirty water all night. It is precisely because of this that there is a dark blue color under her blue eyes. Because today is the competition to determine the rankings, and the staff has not come to remind them yet, the contestants can use the light screen panel for a while. Kao Shishi and the other two just sat on the sofa, slowly looking at the posts on the local forum. Unlike Kao Shishi, who was calm and indifferent, Zikingai and Minahan were very angry. The two of them left messages on every rumor post to help Kao Shishi clarify those completely untrue rumors. During this period, several contestants came to talk to Kao Shishi and said that they believed that Kao Shishi had made it through with her strength. After all, everyone is a contestant participating in the competition. Whether the opponent is truly strong or not can be known by watching a game or fighting a game. Naturally, they will not believe the rumors on the internet. Please turn off the light screen panel, contestants. We will come on stage to draw numbers soon. Please be prepared. After about 10 minutes, a staff member came to remind them. Today's competition is a ring match. 10 contestants will draw numbers in turn, and then go on stage to fight from the smallest to the largest. In the end, the top 3 of this year's college competition will be determined based on the time the contestants persist and the number of times they win. Seeing the staff's reminder, Kao Shishi asked Zikingai and Minahan to turn off the light screen panel. In fact, she didn't want to argue with those people in the local forum because she felt that arguing was meaningless, but seeing that her two friends helped her in this way, she didn't say anything to stop them to spoil the fun. "Don't worry, I just sent a message to my brother, Zikingai, who turned off the light screen panel and came to Kao Shishi and whispered, he will help us find out who is behind the rumors." Although he wanted to help Kao Shishi solve the trouble personally, he had to stay here to participate in the competition now, so he could only leave the matter to Ziziu. Hearing this, Kao Shishi just smiled slightly. I know, you are thoughtful. Don't think about those messy things for now, and get ready for the next ring match. We haven't played against each other in a competition for a long time. After she said this, Zikingai's mood improved a little, and he talked to her about the ring match. Minahan, who was sitting on the side, was also thinking about how to win in the ring match. After all, the next ring match is different from ordinary matches. It is a competition system that tests the ability and physical strength of the players. If you use up all your energy and physical strength at the beginning, you will definitely be knocked off the ring for a short time. After a while, the staff came to notify the players to draw numbers. Kao Shishi, Zikingai and Minahan walked together, so they stood together when they appeared on the stage. After the official host finished reading various introductions, it was time to draw numbers that everyone was looking forward to. If you can draw a later number, the probability of winning will be higher. After all, the players who come on stage first will have more games to play, and they will naturally consume more physical strength and energy, so the players are silently wishing that they can draw a later number. The order of drawing numbers is also random, so there is no need to worry about unfairness. The 10 players drew numbers very quickly, and the number drawing was completed in a short while. Seeing this, the host smiled and said, "Then next, please let the system announce the numbers drawn by the contestants." Today's second update has also been successfully delivered. Thank you little angels for your support and love. 030. Chapter 1299 Righteousness 1. Unlike the good luck that Wen Jiu and others expected, Kao Shishi actually drew the worst number 1. In other words, Kao Shishi needs to defeat the other 9 contestants to win the first place. What kind of luck is Zhao Huaha? Why did she draw number 1? Zhu Wangming sighed again and again while sitting in the audience. He didn't think that Kaioshishi would lose the game, but he was worried that it would be too difficult for her to win. Hearing this, Wen Jiu also frowned with some worry. She felt that with Kaioshishi's strength, she would definitely win the first place, but fighting 9 rounds in a row would be too exhausting for her. I'm afraid that by the time the game is over, Kaioshishi will be paralyzed. Don't worry, Chu Jian saw her worry. Zhao Huahua will definitely be able to handle it. After hearing this, she relaxed her eyebrows. I know she can handle it, I'm just worried about her. Alas. She thought about it and decided not to say those discouraging words. She had to believe that Kaioshishi's efforts for so long were worth it. Don't worry, there's no point in talking so much. Let's just watch the game first. Stephanie was still smiling as before, and the smile in her eyes even increased a little. It was not difficult to see that she really wanted to watch Kaioshishi fight in the ring. She had been serving as Kaioshishi's sparring partner for some time, so she naturally knew her opponent's fighting ability. Anyway, with her current strength, it would not be a problem for her to fight 9 rounds in a row, so she felt that Kaioshishi could at least last 5 or 6 rounds. While Wen Jiu and others were talking in a low voice, many spectators were also talking in a low voice. Have you read the posts on the local forum? Many people say that Kaioshishi has a strong background. She is engaged to Han Yashin from the Han family and is involved with the young master of the Z family. TSK. It turns out that beautiful girls are troubles. Aren't those posts just rumors with no concrete evidence? I think it's better not to say those unpleasant words before there is evidence, so as not to get slapped in the face. Many people say that, and it's not just me, okay? It's really speechless. Look at what Kaioshishi looks like. She just has a well-behaved and innocent face, so she can deceive you. First of all, I really don't have any feelings for contestant Kaioshishi. I'm a diehard fan of contestant Minahan, but I still want to say a few words for contestant Kaioshishi. She really made it to the finals, based on her own strength. It was definitely not a backdoor like what was said in the post. Secondly, your mouth smells so bad. Did you not brush your teeth when you got up early? What do you mean by beautiful girls are troubles? Hey, is there anything wrong with what I said? And how do you know that she definitely didn't use a backdoor? Oh, now the water army has to watch the game offline to complete the task? Yeah. Anyone who speaks for Kaioshishi is a water army, right? Then I have to ask you, how many star coins do you earn as a black fan a day? I see you are so hardworking. I guess you must be able to earn a lot, right? Seeing that the audience was about to quarrel, the host finally came out at this time to say that today's ring match was about to begin, and the first contestant was invited to come on stage. As for who the first contestant was, everyone present knew it. To be honest, Kaioshishi didn't expect that she would draw number 1. She thought that with her previous luck, she could at least get number 4 or 5. However, the facts proved that luck will run out one day. But compared with the extremely worried and nervous Ziking Gyu, she actually didn't change her emotions when she saw number 1. She was still as calm and indifferent as before. Because compared to having good luck all the way to the finals, she actually wanted to fight hard and prove herself. So she was not panicked at all at this moment, but became excited. After the lift sent her to the stage, the host quickly left the duel stage. No need to ask, everything that follows will be prompted by the system. Please prepare for battle. Contestant number 1, Kaioshishi. This round of competition will be conducted in the form of weapon combat. When contestant number 2, Kimura Kian, comes on stage and is ready, I will announce the weapons used in the competition. The cold voice of the system had just fallen when a boy appeared on the left side of the duel stage. This was the contestant who would compete with Kaioshishi in the first round, Kimura Kian. After looking at each other, the two nodded to show respect, and then stepped back a few steps to prepare for battle. The assigned weapon for this weapon combat is the X796 pistol. Please assemble it within 3 minutes and start the battle. Countdown 3 minutes, 180, 179, 178. As the countdown sounded, a table rose on both sides of the duel stage, on which many parts of firearms were placed. Seeing this, Kyoshi rushed over without hesitation, and then quickly looked for parts to assemble the X796 pistol. She only glanced at the table and identified the correct parts mixed in. Therefore, she assembled the X796 pistol twice as fast as Kimura Kaion. While Kimura Kaion was still searching among the various parts, she assembled the pistol specified by the system. Bang, bang. Kimura Kaion, who was originally hesitating about the parts, immediately dodged and hid under the table. Without waiting for Kyoshi to shoot again, Kimura Kaion raised his hand to admit defeat. Seeing this, Kyoshi put away the gun directly and had no intention of continuing to fight. After all, she still had 8 rounds to play, and she had to conserve her energy to fight to the end. The first round was won by contestant number 1 Kyoshi. Contestant number 2 Kimura Kaion was asked to leave the field and contestant number 3 Lee Yuna was on stage. The second round will be held in the form of close combat. Please prepare for the battle as soon as possible. For fairness and humanity, the official still gave contestant number 1 5 minutes to adjust. So after winning the first round, Kyoshi immediately began to adjust her state. She is best at close combat, so the second round was not bad for her. But she did not dare to take it lightly and remained 100% focused, thinking about how to deal with the number 3 contestant. 5 minutes passed quickly, and the number 3 contestant Lee Yuna also took the stage. Lee Yuna was one of the contestants who had shown goodwill to Kyoshi in the lounge just now. She has always admired contestant Kyoshi and finally waited for the opportunity to fight with her. So she became excited after she came on stage. Both contestants, please prepare for the battle. The countdown is 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 3, 2, 1. Today's third update has also been delivered smoothly. Please check it. Little Angel's unexpected extra update today. 030. Chapter 1300 Righteousness 2. The moment the countdown sounded, Kyoshi adjusted her posture and rushed towards Lee Yuna's position. She rushed forward like a flash of lightning, and in the blink of an eye she was in front of Lee Yuna. Then she grabbed the opponent's shoulders with both hands and pressed down, and then used her right knee to push up. As long as Lee Yuna took this move, she would definitely lose. The audience sitting in the viewing platform held their breath, seeing that Lee Yuna's abdomen was about to be hit, but Lee Yuna calmly grabbed Kyoshi's wrist, and then quickly broke free from the restraints brought by Kyoshi, and dodged this move. Lee Yuna took advantage of the force, and took a few steps back, pulling away from Kyoshi. You are indeed the opponent I have been looking forward to for a long time. Hearing this, Kyoshi adjusted her position, and looked for the opportunity, while smiling and replied, you are also the opponent I have been looking forward to for a long time. I hope we can have a good fight this time. That is a must, but don't let this game end too quickly. Lee Yuna clenched her fists as she spoke, and then stepped towards Kyoshi's position and punched. Her fist was very powerful, and it brought a breeze when she swung it. It is not difficult to see that if Kyoshi took this punch, it would probably take several minutes to recover. It's a pity that Kyoshi still dodged very quickly and took the opportunity to kick Lee Yuna in the thigh. The sudden pain made Lee Yuna dazed for a moment, and Kyoshi seized this opportunity to kick again. In the blink of an eye, Lee Yuna was kicked 2 or 3 meters away by Kyoshi. The audience couldn't help but exclaimed in unison. No one expected Kyoshi to react so quickly. Hey, I'm going to be serious. Lee Yuna quickly turned over and stood up. Come on, let me see who is better. Before Lee Yuna could finish her words, she saw Kyoshi rushing over like the wind, and then she felt a pain in her arm. The next second, she was pressed to the ground by Kyoshi, and her hands were held behind her back, and she couldn't break free. Her legs were forced to kneel on the ground, and she couldn't move, even if she wanted to fight back with her legs. After nearly a minute of stalemate, she said loudly in frustration, I give up. I give up. As soon as she finished speaking, the power that had been restraining her gradually weakened until it disappeared. Contestant number 1 Kyoshi won the first round. Please ask contestant number 3 Lee Yuna to leave the stage, and contestant number 4 Fang Yuiao to come on stage. One contestant after another came on stage, and one contestant after another left the stage. Only Kaioshishi stood on the duel stage and defeated every opponent with the best posture. Even the equally popular contestant Minahan couldn't last more than 10 moves under Kaioshishi. For a while, the audience was talking about it, and many people who didn't think highly of Kaioshishi before changed their minds at this time. I didn't expect that Kaioshishi is really capable. She will probably be the first in this college competition. I've told you that Kaioshishi is very powerful, but you just don't believe me and say that she relies on her face to get to the top. I'm really impressed. Is there still a prejudice against appearance these days? There are so many handsome soldiers in the military region. Why don't you say that they rely on their faces? The main reason is that Kaioshishi won easily before, so we laymen naturally thought she was. Forget it. Forget it. I won't say it anymore. Now I know she is very powerful. Oh, this old man's words are really interesting. Isn't it normal for people with strong strength to win easily? And now that you know you are powerful, you say you are a layman. Didn't you call yourself a graduate of the Reserve Military Academy before? TSK, I don't think you will still be able to keep your mouth shut, even after you are burned to ashes. Okay, stop arguing. The next contestant is Mengzin. It's hard to say who will win or lose when Kaioshishi and Mengzin face off. And Kaioshishi's luck is really bad. She was drawn to fight Mengzin in a mecha. It seems that her winning streak will stop here. Is Mengzin the first place winner of the Hang Philosophy College? Wow, Hang Philosophy College is the best preparatory military college on our planet. Alas, it seems that Kaioshishi will step down soon. I say, can you not change your mind so quickly? Why do you think Kaioshishi will definitely lose and step down? She is not weak in mecha combat. The audience chattered and discussed. Some thought that Kaioshishi was strong, but not as strong as Mengzin, and some thought that Kaioshishi could tie with Mengzin. In short, after discussing and discussing, not many people insisted that Kaioshishi would definitely win. After all, in their opinion, Kaioshishi was too beautiful, and even if she was very strong, she was not that strong. Besides, Mengzin is the first from Hang's academy, and he is famous for the title of King of Mecha Battle. Therefore, most of the people present felt sorry for Kaioshishi. Is that contestant Mengzin really that good? The title of King of Mecha Battle is a bit too much. Zhu Wangming naturally heard the discussions of other audiences, and he couldn't help but approach Wen Jiu and whispered in confusion. Hearing this, Wen Jiu had to patiently explain, I have seen Mengzin driving a mecha to fight before, and I have to say that he is really good. But I think Shishi can still win, so you don't have to worry too much. She couldn't deny that Mengzin was indeed very good at this, but Kaioshishi was really not much worse. So, she was looking forward to the next game. The battle between two players of equal strength is naturally more exciting than the previous crushing. The 8th round of the game will be held in the form of mecha battle. Please prepare for the battle as soon as possible. This mecha battle will use the 501A mecha. Please collect your mecha starter. Upon hearing the sound, Kaioshishi walked to the far right of the duel stage without changing her expression, and took the mecha starter from the raised small table. The moment she took the mecha starter, the duel stage suddenly extended a section, and the protective shield also widened a lot. It seems that the duel stage in the main arena is smarter. Knowing that the venue for mecha battles is particularly large, it directly doubled the estimated land use. At the same time, on the other side, Mengzin also took the mecha starter. In fact, as early as when Kaioshishi and Han Yashin were fighting, he noticed this overly beautiful girl. It's just that compared to the other party's pure and moving face, the clean and neat moves are more attractive to him. So from then on, he began to look forward to fighting with Kaioshishi. It's a pity that his luck has not been very good, and he has never met the opponent in the previous games. But it doesn't matter, he finally waited for this opportunity today. He is looking forward to having a gorgeous and cruel battle with an opponent who is equally matched with him. Today's update has been delivered. Thank you little angels for your support, and love 030. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.